trusted far and wide. Together in knowledge, we stand with pride. NECCI PR Roundtable, hear the call, where great ideas inspire us all. Dialogue rising, bold and clear, building tomorrow, year by year. NECCI PR Roundtable, hear the call, where great ideas inspire us all. Dialogue rising, bold and clear, building tomorrow, year by year.
That's for sound effect. 25 years of doing something consistently and changing mindsets, shaping mindsets, and helping the authorities to do the things that need to be done. Welcome once again. My name is Nkechi, and I am standing with, I call her Lola, but her name is Lola Egbo.
Thank you so much, Nyota. Good morning, everyone, and welcome. It is so exciting to be here at the 25th edition of the NECCI PR Roundtable. And, you know, in today's world where it seems as though not a single day goes by And without some dramatic event happening, whether it's executives embroiled in an extramarital affair that are revealed in the most humiliating public way possible, or a truck somewhere running over people, or whether it's all sorts of tantrums that we're seeing from celebrities, from government officials, from corporate entities in general. The theme for this year's PR Roundtable could never have been more relevant. There's no better time for us to evaluate, PR and the critical role that it plays, not only in managing reputation, which is what people generally tend to talk about, but in actually shaping those reputations. It promises to be a very exciting time today, and I'm really excited to see everyone and looking forward to a really wonderful conversation.
We do know that in the moment you walked in, you said a hello to somebody or the other, but could you just turn to the person beside you and say one more time, it's a good thing to have you here. We'll be discussing the ethics of governance, and one of the major challenges that we know that leadership in Nigeria tends to have is communicating governance. That's a big challenge in itself. Having heard from a couple of them, they tell you how they budget for the project or the infrastructure, but budgeting for the communication of these infrastructure is usually never or hardly ever done. And when it is done, it is almost infinitesimal in terms of cost. But distinguished ladies and gentlemen, we will not waste too much time. We'll go on straight to see the documenting 25 years of this roundtable. God bless you.
It began 25 years ago at the Lagos Business School, a modest meeting, a daring idea. A group of visionaries, Folusho Phillips, the late Mike Meze, and Pat Utami, lit a flame that would change the story of communication in Nigeria.
They first called it the Public Relations Summit before the breakthrough that led to the name NECCI PR Roundtable.
For the general populace to embrace a new culture of zero corruption, they must be reoriented into believing that the fight against corruption is a collective duty of every citizen and not just the government.
A space for truth, ideas, and transformation. From Lagos Business School to Muson Center, and finally, a small round table at Jade Chinese Restaurant, now Zen Garden, NECCI found its voice. We pretended to eat, but we were shaping ideas that would move a nation. Sometimes just about 15 people, but the conversations were powerful. In 2013, with support from Lulu Akinwumi of Prima Garnet, participation became open and inclusive. Then came 2014, and Professor P.L.O. Lumumba's thunderous call for integrity. His words electrified the hall, and redefined the Roundtable.
Nkechi has spent great energy and enthusiasm in inviting me to be present with you this morning. A continent which should now be on the first lane with other civilizations is a basket case is because of corruption.
From that moment, NECCI wasn't just a conference, it became a conscience. From vice presidents to innovators, from global CEOs to digital creators, NECCI became a platform where dialogue met action. Each edition deepened one truth: that conversation drives change. Beyond PR, the Roundtable embraced bigger issues: governance, healthcare, innovation, and women's leadership. It became a voice for inclusion, ethics, and transformation. For most people, NECCI was not just about a stage, it was about visibility. It showed that dialogue belongs to everyone. And now, for 25 years, NECCI Roundtable has shaped thoughts, inspired leadership, and nurtured generations of communicators. What began as a modest summit is now Africa's premier platform for strategic communication. When Dr. Nkechi Ali-Balogun saw it all, in her words, "When we started, we didn't see this far, but NECCI's journey proves that dialogue can truly build nations." And yes, NECCI has built nations. This is NECCI. This is Roundtable. 25 years of dialogue, resilience, and impacts. Dr. Nkechi Ali-Balogun, public relations strategist, nation builder, mentor, visionary leader. Dr. Nkechi Ali-Balogun is one of Nigeria's most respected voices in public relations and strategic communication. As the principal consultant, CEO of NECCI Limited, she has spent over 30 years shaping narratives, building brands, and mentoring the next generation of communicators. A graduate of the University of Lagos, she holds an MBA and postgraduate diploma in marketing from the University of Nigeria, Nsukka, and a PhD in mass communication earned in her 60s, exemplifying her belief in lifelong learning. She also trained at Frank Jeffkins School of PR London and Lagos Business School. Her career spans leadership roles at NTA, Nexim Bank, Equatorial Trust Bank,
where she led corporate communications. But her most enduring legacy is the NECCI PR Roundtable, an annual forum she founded to address national issues through the lens of communication. From tackling illicit pharmaceutical trade to championing women in technology, the Round Table has become a continental model for policy-shaping dialogue. In 2021, Dr. Akinwumi Adesina, former AFDB president, praised her as smart, creative, dynamic, and resilient. His keynote on social media power and governance underscored the Roundtable's growing influence across Africa. Nkechi's core values is embedded in her belief that communication is rooted in truth and trust. She empowers young professionals, especially women. She's a patriot who strongly believes that PR can be used to elevate Nigeria's image and development. Dr. Ali-Balogun is not just a communicator, she's a catalyst for transformation. Nkechi Ali-Balogun's chat with NAB is a personal and inspiring series where she dives into the themes of self-discovery, purpose, and lifestyle transformation. Her accolades include the PR Golden Eagle Award, an IPR Lifetime Achievement Award, and recognition as one of Africa's top women in PR. She is a fellow of the NIPR, a senior member of APRA, and currently a member of Council, NIJ, and the Chairman CEO of PR Can Executive Team and several other philanthropic organizations, including her own non-profit organization, the Right Initiatives for Rural Development. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Dr. Nkechi Ali-Balogun.
the 25th anniversary of the NECCI. This journey began at a pivotal moment. The representative of the Minister of Information just walked in, Dr. You're welcome, sir. Reflecting back to the year 2000, this journey began at a pivotal moment in my professional life. After leaving the banking sector and stepping into entrepreneurship, I found myself curious and eager for more than training alone. I sensed the need for a platform that would truly add value to the public relations profession. At that time, it was clear many communications and PR leaders lacked a space to expand their knowledge, share experiences, and collaboratively address challenges in strategic communication, especially in crisis management and brand reputation. This inspired the creation of an exclusive forum of public relations professionals, a place to exchange ideas, learn, and support one another. Our inaugural event, held at Lagos Business School under the name Public Relations Summit, featured distinguished speakers such as Professor Patu Tommy, Mr. Folusho Phillips, and the late Mike Meze. What began modestly in 2000 with 25 participants has since grown into one of Nigeria's most enduring and influential communication platforms. Over the years, the Public Relations Roundtable has evolved into a respected forum for dialogue, learning, and advocacy. We have remained true to our founding vision to promote professionalism, uphold ethics, and use communication as a tool for development and nation building. Our impact over the past 25 years has been significant. We have shaped public policy and communication frameworks, underscoring the role of public relations in governance and leadership. For example, during our 25th edition, themed Fighting the Scourge of Illicit Trade in the Pharma Industry, the role of communication, the Nigerian Institute of Public Relations recognized our efforts in educating the public on how strategic communication can combat illicit trade. Beyond this, NECCI has driven national conversations on pressing issues such as corruption, the blue economy, youth engagement, new frontiers, in foreign investments, and accountability. We have also highlighted the transformative role of technology in communication and dedicated ourselves to mentoring the next generation of communicators, ensuring that meaningful dialogue translates into real, tangible change. We have trained and mentored young professionals, building a strong pipeline of competent and ethical communicators. We have welcomed globally recognized thought leaders whose insights have shaped the profession locally and internationally, including His Excellency, former President of the African Development Bank, Adewumi Adesina, PhD, Professor Benedict Orama, President of NECCI Bank, Professor P.L., member of Kenya, Senator Desi Danjuma, Vice President of Nigeria, Professor Yomi Osinbajo, His Excellency Peter Obi, and many others, including yourselves today. Our strong partnership with institutions like the Nigerian Institute of Public Relations and various corporate organizations have further strengthened our reach, reinforcing our commitment to professional excellence and public enlightenment. In the 25th edition, true to our roundtable spirit, we present a timely theme: the ethics of governance, shaping reputation through public relations. In an era where credibility and trust are constantly scrutinized, Ethical communication is essential to leadership and good governance. As communicators, we serve not only as spokespersons, but as guardians of truth, transparency, and trust. Today, we are proud to launch the NECCI Public Relations Pulse Essay Writing Prize. This initiative aims to cultivate knowledgeable and skilled public relations professionals who will make a significant impact in the industry. With your support, we envision this prize evolving into a prestigious annual award that recognizes and nurtures outstanding talent in public relations. Over time, the PR Pulse Award expands to encompass all areas or categories within the field, ultimately establishing itself as a distinguished honor comparable to the Pulitzer Prize. As we celebrate this silver jubilee, I sincerely thank our Board of Trustees, partners and sponsors, especially Zenith Bank, First Bank, Stanbic IBTC, and many others. NCC, I think they're here. Thank you very much. Your support has sustained this initiative for 25 remarkable years. Thanks also to every speaker, facilitator, those who have worked tirelessly behind the scene, my family, my dear husband, my daughter. I say thank you, participants whose dedication continues to fuel this vision. I especially extend my heartfelt thanks to today's keynote speaker, Dr. John Momoh, affectionately dubbed John Reputation Momoh, for his unwavering integrity and exemplary leadership as a media mogul with a sterling reputation. I deeply value our friendship of over 4 decades and sincerely thank you for being a true role model in both character and profession. I also want to thank our chairperson, Mrs. Godrey Ogbechie. She turned a very young girl last week. Should I tell them? Okay, she just entered the 6th floor. I want to thank my president of the Nigerian Institute of Public Relations and chairman of council, Dr. Ike Neliaku, ably represented by our amiable, indefatigable Vice President, Professor Dan Daura. Thank you so much. So look, I want to thank my Board of Trustees, represented today by Haji Alami Tumaka and the other person. The other person, Chief Yomi Badejo Okusoya, the other person. Well, the wife just became a son, and I hear he's going to arrest me, sue me, and let me announce here that when he sues me, that same son will defend me. The NECCI Public Relations Roundtable. Looking ahead, may we uphold the values that define us: professionalism, integrity, and collaboration. Let us continue mentoring emerging voices, shaping ethical leadership, and using our craft to build a more transparent, united society. The NECCI PR Roundtable stands today as a testament to vision, perseverance, and shared purpose. Here's to another 25 years of impact, innovation, and excellence. Oh my God, Honorable Adbike Dabiri, I'm excited she's here because she's supposed to be representing the president out of the country today. She decided to come even if it's for 5 minutes. Thank you, Madam. I want to thank, I can see my COFA members. I saw 1 or 2. Thank you so much. This is not a vote of thanks. So at this point, I want to, especially if you allow me, to thank my husband, who has been a support system all along. He's quite troublesome though, but don't worry. And I thank my daughter, who I hear is beginning to wear my shoes. Thank you so much. God bless you. Oh, my brand strategist, where is she? Tell me, talk back. I say a very big thank you. I met this lady in Abuja, and she just took to me. I don't pay her a dime. I can't afford her. But she comes every year from Abuja to do this free of charge. I ask you if you need a brand strategist, there she is. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Please put your hands together one more time for Dr. Nkechi Ali-Balogun. There is nothing like recognizing your pillars of support. And she did not end without acknowledging the one pillar of support that is considered the one pillar of support, Mr. Ali-Balogun, strong man himself. Thank you very much. Please, ladies and gentlemen, we'll move on real quick. We're going to take in some goodwill messages. We'd like to keep them short. Please, if you're coming up, the microphone, I understand the system's changed so that you're getting a different microphone that will give you just 2 minutes. After 2 minutes, the microphone will go off, so please keep your goodwill message short as possible. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, at this point in time, I'd like to invite to the microphone the head corporate communications of NECCI, Victoria Wandoka, for her goodwill message.
Thank you very much. So it will cut me off at 2 minutes. I'll finish before then. Good morning, esteemed ladies and gentlemen. It's such a pleasure to be here. It's a pleasure to listen to this goodwill message. To listen to the opening statement. And I acknowledge all the dignitaries, VIPs, VVIPs in the room. And I'd just like to say that the profession of public relations is dynamic, and every opportunity, every platform to increase knowledge, to share experiences, and to share best practices will help to build a profession. You know, some time ago, the other person said to us that the business of public relations or public relations practitioners need public relations. And this is one of the platforms that gives us that opportunity to look at our profession, to elevate our office, and to really drive the essence of the value that we bring as communicators, whether it's in the private sector, in the public sector, or in society. We have a role to play. Communication has a key role to play. And as communicators, we must understand that. So I look forward to the discussions, to the engagements, to the presentations. And I look forward to learning best practices that I usually copy and paste and tweak a little bit. And I'm sure that we're all looking forward to that. And with that, I wish all of us a very productive time spent at this PR forum. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, and she did that in less than 2 minutes. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, let us invite upstage the Acting Group Head, Marketing and Corporate Communications of First Bank, Olayinka Ijabi. Okay, that gives us more time. At this point, I'd like to invite a member of the Board of Trustees, Lami Tumaka, for her goodwill message. Please put your hands together as she comes up. As they say, nothing new under the sun. You just copy and paste. From a gathering like this, there's so much you can draw.
Good morning, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. Climbing took 1 minute of my time, so I have only 1 minute here. Congratulations, Nkechi Ali-Balogun, my sister, my friend. I was telling Dr. Alice that I'm rather shocked that I didn't see my picture in the video that was shown, because I've been on this journey with you since time immemorial. I've attended nothing less than 6 or more. So I think I've earned a place in that video, and more, actually. I've been through the pain. I've been through the celebration. I've been through the anxiety. I've been through it all with her. And Nkechi, what I want to say to you today is that, like they say, the Lord has been faithful. God has been kind. You're his special child. I know what we went through, even planning this one. And I told her, go to sleep. You're a child of God. He's never failed you, and he will not fail you this time. So with those few very profound words coming from my heart, I welcome you again to this very, very impactful, significant, and wonderful and amazing program. I remain Lami Tumaka. Thank you. 1 minute?
Actually, you took more than 1 minute.
It was worth it. Come this way.
It was worth the one. In fact, it was worth the 2+ minutes that you had.
We're getting closer to the 7th floor.
Don't worry, you'll get to the 7th floor in good faith. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together one more time for Lami Tumaka, please. We'll take another goodwill message. This time is from someone that many will not consider a PR practitioner, but actually he's a PR practitioner. This goodwill message is going to be played from the media point, and it's from Richard Mofe Damijo. Media, please. You know, in these days of AI, very soon we will not be needing people at the media point again. It will be all animated.
PR Roundtable, Public Relations Roundtable, and Dr. Mrs. Nkechi Ali-Balogun. Congratulations. 25 years of constant innovation, impacting the society and building a community of PR professionals. My goodness, I'm so privileged to be sharing this occasion with you. Congratulations. Like we say in Warri, 25 years not be being so, you know. Here's to many more years, okay, of impact and just building a community that will serve the rest of the world with professionals. God bless you and keep the fire burning.
That was a quick, oh boy, that was a quick one. Quickly take the good message from First Bank now. Olayinka Ijabi, Acting Group Head, Marketing and Corporate Communications, is in the building. Thank you.
Good morning, everybody. It's a pleasure to be here, and congratulations to my big auntie in the business. To have done this for this long, you know, is staying power that we at First Bank are used to. 131 years, you know, and you are still going, you know. We'll be looking forward to you still being here, doing this for the next 131 years. Are you ready? Are you ready? You're ready for that journey? But thank you. It's also a pleasure for First Bank to be a part of this. we are very strong across various sectors, various economies, in terms of the support that we give businesses and we give initiatives and ideas like this. And we really are delighted and congratulate you on this milestone. We know that you continue to go even further. We know that the PR business in Nigeria, the PR industry in Nigeria will continue to develop, and we'll continue to do our very best to support that industry and that sector with as much gusto as possible. But thank you for the opportunity for us to allow us even support you, and we know that you can continue to count on us going forward. Thank you very much, everyone.
So many wonderful words being said there. It's indeed clear that the NECCI PR Roundtable, under the able leadership of Dr. Nkechi Ali-Balogun, has really made profound impacts, not only on the industry in Nigeria, but across the continent. At this time, we will be inviting our chairperson, who will be taking her opening remark. And our chairperson for today is Mrs. Godrey Ogbechie, who's the managing director of Noteworthy Investments Limited, the group executive director of Rain Oil Limited, non-executive director at Eterna PLC, and vice chairman of the Brace Foundation. With over 3 decades of professional experience across the financial and energy sectors, she's recognized for her expertise in corporate governance, strategic leadership, and business transformation. Godrey joined Rain Oil Limited in 2009 after a distinguished banking career, and has since been instrumental in building robust systems and controls that drive sustainable growth across the group's diverse portfolio, which spans oil and gas, logistics, finance, agriculture, real estate, and hospitality. A member of several professional associations and social clubs, Godrey continues to channel her passion for human and organizational development into building stronger enterprises and communities. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for Mrs. Godrey Ogbechie. Ladies and gentlemen, just before our chairperson comes up for her welcome opening remarks, we would like to, at this time, take the goodwill message from the distinguished and highly esteemed Minister of Information. Please put your hands together.
Good morning. Let me stand on existing protocol. My name is Dr. Olaleko. I'm the Director General, Advertising Regulatory Council of Nigeria, ACON. I am here to represent the Honorable Minister, who is currently out of the country on official assignment. I'll read this goodwill message. Goodwill message by the Honorable Minister of Information and National Orientation, Alhaji Mohammed Idris, at the 25th edition of NECCI PR Roundtable held at Eco Hotel and Suites. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, esteemed participants, colleagues, and professionals in the field of communication and public relations. It gives me a great pleasure to be here today at this remarkable 25th edition of NECCI PR Roundtable, a platform that for over 2 decades have consistently championed the advancement of ethical communication, public enlightenment, and professional excellence in the Nigerian public relations landscape. I would like to begin by commending the office organizers of this long-standing and impactful initiative under the visionary leadership of its founder and Chief Executive Officer, Mrs. Nkechi Ali-Balogun. For 25 years, this platform has provided much needed space for thought leadership, dialogue, and collaboration between government, the private sector, and the communication professionals. You have sustained a legacy of constructive engagement, which continue to shape the standard of public relations and governance in our country. The theme of this year's roundtable, the ethics of governance, shaping reputation through public relations, could not be more relevant in today's world of complex realities and rapid information flow. The link between the ethical governance and national reputation has become critical. As government communicators and stakeholders in the information ecosystem, we must continue to uphold ethics, transparency, and the truth at the foundation of every effective public communication. At the Federal Ministry of Information and National Orientation, our work is deeply anchored in this main principle. Under the renewed hope agenda of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR, this administration is committed to rebuilding public trust, promoting transparency, and ensuring that government communication serves as a bridge between government and the people. Through responsible information management, media engagement, and national orientation, we aim to foster a culture where truth, accountability, and integrity is defined by our national narrative. Public relations, when rooted in ethics, does more than promote image. It builds credibility, reinforces national values, and shapes how citizens and the world perceive governance. That is why the platform is very important and vital. They remind us that our reputation as individual, institution, and a nation is earned through consistent ethical conduct and transparent communication. So I would like to call on all communication professionals here today to continue to be ambassadors of truth, integrity, and nation building. Let us ensure that our work reflects the value we seek to promote. Values that unify, inspire, and sustain truth in both governance and the society. As we celebrate this 25th milestone, I congratulate the organizers once again for their unwavering commitment to excellence and ethics in public relations practice. Your dedication is a testament to the transformative power of communication when guided by purpose and integrity. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, it is now my honor and privilege to declare this 25th edition of NECCI PR Roundtable open. I wish you fruitful deliberation, renewed partnership, and outcome that will further strengthen the ethics of governance and reputation of our great nation. Thank you, and God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Honorable Minister of Information, Alhaji Mohammed Idris Malagi.
Please put your hands together one more time. At this time, we would now invite up our executive and honorable chairperson, Mrs. Godrey Ifoma Ogbechie.
Very close to this event, but I'll try to make my voice audible enough. Luckily, I'm blessed with a big voice. When I talk, people think it's a man that is at the end of the line until they see me. when I get into rooms, when I talk to people on the phone, and they think I'm a man, and I get into the room and they see me and they say, oh, you are a woman. I say, obviously, don't I look like one? Anyway, welcome. I am not used to being chairman of anything. So you can see that I started my welcome address or my remark from the end to the beginning. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, standing on the existing protocol, of course. I think I'm a bit starstruck because I am seeing people I've only seen either on TV or inside newspapers. And you really don't know when you are going to see them face to face. And here I am today, Mr. John Momoh. Nice to see you, and even sit beside you. I'm going to take a picture and prove to everyone that I actually sat beside you. So welcome to this event. It is actually my honor and pleasure to welcome you as the chairman. It's a very powerful position, so I can actually tell you to sit down or stand up according to how I feel. As a chairperson, okay, let me change it to a chairperson of this occasion. Year after year, this platform brings together people of some of the finest minds in public relations and governance to discuss what truly shapes our society. If there is any time we need this kind of conversations, it is a time like this. Like one of the MCs said, that every day you see something in the public space that just makes your ears tingle, and you begin to wonder what kind of a world are we living in, and what kind of legacy are we trying to leave for our children. But a lot of people are like what the Gen Zs say, catching a lot of cruise. But in the midst of catching all that cruise, a lot of lives are actually being impacted, and if I dare say, maybe even damaged. So I think this discourse is very, very important. I want to thank my dear sister, Mrs. Nkechi Ali-Balogun, for inviting me to be here and to witness the contribution of very accomplished people like you to a subject matter that will impact our people, our society, and our nation. Our theme, Ethics of Governance, Shaping Reputation Through Public Relations, is a timely reminder that truth is the real capital of leadership. Ethics give governance its soul, and public relations, when practiced truthfully, gives that soul a voice. From my own experience in the downstream oil and gas sector, I've learned that integrity is the best crisis management tool. And we've heard people talk about integrity, credibility, and all of that. They are not, I don't think we are just throwing words from dictionary to fill up the space. I think it is the core and the anchor. If not, everything will just be like Nollywood, of course. Not that Nollywood is bad, sir. Hey, Oga. What I mean by, okay, maybe I should have used the word entertainment. Because sometimes when we just throw those words around, people just get entertained and they move on and they don't remember what it is that we are trying to do. So, from my own experience in the downstream oil and gas, I've learned that integrity is the best crisis management tool. When you choose openness over silence, honesty over convenience, trust grows in tough times. And we are in tough times, not just in Nigeria, even though some people may disagree, but globally, these are really very tough times. As PR professionals, we must, more than be storytellers, we must be truth tellers. Let our messages align with our values. If Nigeria's reputation is to rise, ethics must move from documents to daily conduct, from slogans to standards. Let us make ethics our strongest brand, because a good name built on truth will always stand taller than a fleeting image. And as I close, I will just tell a very simple story around building truth and how it would stand taller than just a fleeting image. We are trying to do something in my organization, and while I was talking, I saw that the head of my branding team is here and trying to do a video, as they always do. And I remember a conversation that we were having in the office recently about a particular thing that we are trying to create. And I was fretting so much about the quality, the look, and all of this. And he said something. He said, "Ma, building a brand goes beyond just the icon of the brand. It is more about what we actually do with the brand." So thank you very much for coming. Let us contribute to this conversation about what we're actually going to do to shape PR in our small communities, in government, in the private sector, in whichever field that we find ourselves and we are engaged in, so that Nigeria can be good enough for all of us. The countries are closing up on, on Nigeria. Everybody is being told to stay in their own homelands. So we need to make Nigeria a place where we will be proud to live, grow, die, and hand over to our children. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Mr. Maka, should we call that bad belly? Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, there are actually two chairpersons for this year's roundtable, but the other chairperson is unavoidably absent, but represented. He's the 15th president and chairman of Council of the Nigerian Institute of Public Relations, first elected in 2023 and re-elected in 2025. An accomplished public relations leader, he holds a bachelor's degree in theater arts from the University of Jos, a master's degree in political economy, and a PhD in development studies from the University of Abuja, as well as executive credentials from London School of Economics. Under his leadership, NIPR has expanded membership, digitized its systems, strengthened regulatory enforcement, and secured the hosting rights of the 2026 World Public Relations Forum in Nigeria. He is widely recognized for his strategic vision and commitment to professionalism and dedication to advancing the practice of public relations. But he is ably represented here today by Professor Malam Yakubu Lamai. If you could just come up to say a few words. Okay, Professor Dandawa representing the NIPR president. Please put your hands together for him as he comes up. Misinformation.
Thank you so much. It's fine. Though it will have been better if you call Lamai Dandawa because he's my younger brother. But it's all right. The child is the father of a man. So it means he has eclipsed me so much, and I'm happy about it because I'm a contributor towards his growth. Well, the Honorable Minister, who is represented here by our DG Akon, the Chair of NECCI Board of Trustees, that's Silver Jubilee now. Indeed, the lady for whom we left all that we need to do to come here today, and we are not regretting it because everywhere is looking so brilliant. Dr. Nkechi Ali-Balogun, our own John Reputation Momoh, chairman of the advisory group of Nigerian Reputation Management Group, and of course, the founder of Channels TV. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, let me just say that I came here because my president, I was to come on my own, but somehow my president, who is the chairman, alongside Madam who is just spoken, was not able to come because we have 3 key events. One of them, the one in Abuja, if he's not there, he's a lead speaker. If he's not there, the event will not hold. And he said, well, maybe I should also represent him here. So I wanted to do my freestyle. By sitting there, he sent me a script that he would want me to say exactly what he would have said if he's here. So permit me to go to his script and present it as he wrote it. But let's just say that Dr. Nkechi Ali-Balogun is an icon of the Nigerian Institute of Public Relations. She is one that we are very proud of, and so it is very correct. If I have to speak about her, I will speak, even though the same thing, but in different ways. And since the president said I should read what he has sent, he said I should mention that today we are gathered not just to mark a date, but to celebrate a journey, a 25-year story of vision, grit, and excellence, led by a woman of substance, one in whom we are very proud. Dr. Nkechi Ali-Balogun, we are proud that you have been able to uphold NECCI PR Roundtable these 25 years, maintaining the same values. It has not only served as a bridge between government, business, and the public, but it is establishing a legacy that is difficult for anybody to erase. The choice of the theme this year brings to mind an issue that is very important to us in the public relations sector globally. The issues of ethics, governance, and the strategic role of public relations cannot be overemphasized. Governance everywhere is under intense public scrutiny. Citizens are more vocal in the digital spaces, and they are also unforgiving as far as demanding accountability is concerned. Let us face it, no amount of public relations can save unethical governance. You can try your best to polish an image, but if the conduct is rotten, the shine won't last. Ethics is the soul of governance. Public relations is its conscience. When ethics fails, public relations becomes damage control. But when ethics drives leadership, public relations becomes nation building. A government that governs with integrity earns the right to communicate with authority, and a communicator who upholds ethics earns the power to shape perception with credibility. That's the relationship between governance and public relations. In today's world, reputation is not built on press statements. It is built on behavior. The people are watching, recording, and reacting all the time. Public relations professionals must therefore rise above spin and embrace truth as strategy. The age of manipulation is over. The era of transparency has arrived. If ethics is not at the center of governance, citizens will find their own narrative. And once that happens, even the best PR mind can't reverse the damage. At the NIPR, we are driving a new culture, one that positions communication as a tool for national cohesion, leadership, accountability, and institutional trust. We are saying loud and clear that public relations is not an afterthought. It is a governance strategy. We are also proud to see NECCI PR Roundtable uphold these same values for this long period of time. Dr. Nkechi Ali-Balogun, your story is a masterclass in consistency. You've raised the bar, shaped narratives, and inspired a generation of practitioners, especially women, to take their rightful place at the top. From Lagos chair to PR camp president, and now the driving force behind some of the initiatives we see in NIPR. Your career is proof that leadership in communication is not about titles. It's about impact, impact that endures. You have shown that ethics and excellence are not old-fashioned. They are timeless. Finally, the 25th anniversary is a call to reflection. As communication leaders, we must restore trust as the heartbeat of governance. We must train a new generation of public relations practitioners who understand that ethics is not a chapter in a textbook. It's an oxygen of credibility. Let us use our skills, not just to promote power, but to humanize it, not just to shape messages, but to rebuild meaning in public life. As we celebrate this silver jubilee, let's remember that reputation is not what people say about us when we issue a press statement. It is what they believe about us when the microphone is off. So may we govern ethically, communicate truthfully, and serve faithfully. That is how to shape a nation's reputation that stands the test of time. Congratulations, Dr. Nkechi Ali-Balogun and the NECCI PR family. Here is to the next 25 years of impactful innovation and integrity. I would have spoken shorter, but I have a script to read. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. That is Professor Emmanuel Dandaura, Vice President and Vice Chairman of Council, Nigerian Institute of Public Relations. He is also a Professor of Development Communications. Permit me to quote from a book that I'm sure a few of us might have read from old, The Passport of Malamilia. It says that in those days when men were men and women were won by those who deserved them, a 25-year-old woman by now will be thinking about her next generation. A 25-year-old woman will be planning the marriage of her daughter, who by now will be about 9 or 8, 9 years old. 25 years of NECCI PR Roundtable is remarkable indeed. Let's just put our hands together one more time for this. When Professor Dandaura came up here, he said something about the son being the father of the man. I will not be standing here if not for my professional father. I can never be. He looked at me and said, let him go, as in give him a chance. And by God helping me, that chance can never be abused. So it's a privilege for me to stand here and today attempt to introduce my father. Now, some of you might be wondering when you get into church and they say, let us say hello. The pastor will say, I bring you greetings from my father. Please let us give honor to whom honor is due and recognize my father. Hold on, I'm not saying you should do that, but you will, because this is my father. And to many of us, he is a mentor, he's a leader, and he is an icon that we would forever look up to by God's grace. Amen? You won't say amen? Please, ladies and gentlemen, he is the one that's going to be delivering the keynote. He's delivering the keynote address today on the ethics of governance, shaping reputation through public relations. An apt topic, please, media. The profile for Dr. John Momoh, Chairman, Chief Executive Officer, Channels Media Group. The profile, please.
John Momoh is a distinguished figure in African media, widely regarded for his exceptional contributions to broadcast journalism and entrepreneurship, with a career spanning over 4 decades. He has played a pivotal role in shaping the media landscape in Nigeria and beyond. As the chairman of Channels Media Group and Chief Executive Officer of Channels Television, Dr. Momoh has demonstrated visionary leadership, elevating the standards of new delivery and of a significant impact on journalism and entrepreneurship. 5 Nigerian universities have conferred honorary doctorate degrees upon him, underscoring his enduring influence and commitment to excellence. Affectionately known as Dr. John Reputation Momoh, he epitomizes integrity, dedication, and exemplary leadership, inspiring future generations of media practitioners and entrepreneurs. Beyond his professional achievements, Dr. Momoh is a devoted family man. He is married to Mrs. Shola Momoh, a fellow broadcaster, and together they have 3 children and a grandson. John Momoh's legacy remains a testament to visionary leadership and unwavering commitment to the highest standards of media excellence.
Channels. Going to come back very soon. When you look at you've been profiled. Sometimes we wonder, are they talking about me? But it's actually quite heartwarming, and all glory to God. Well, good morning. The chairman of the representative of the Honorable Minister of Information, the chairman of today's occasion, my colleagues, fellow board members, and it's nice to see you, Femi Additional, away from the villa. And it's nice to see you, VK, as well, and Prof, and everyone who's here today. I'm still happy to be here. When Nkechi approached me, a couple of months ago, I said to her that, you got it. I'm going to attend. And I left everything. I'm supposed to be traveling, but I thought that I should readjust my schedule and honor this invitation. So I'm particularly pleased to be here because it's standing among people who understand that words can build bridges or burn them. But congratulations are due to Mrs. Nkechi Ali-Balogun on 25 remarkable years of professionalism and impact. There's no gainsaying, Nkechi, that your consistency and passion continue to remind us that ethics still matter. Today's theme, ethics of governance, shaping reputation through public relations, may sound like a PhD thesis. It's very serious. But at its core, it's about one simple thing, and that was mentioned by a professor: trust. Trust is the currency of leadership. Trust between leaders and citizens, trust between government and the governed, and trust between Nigeria and Nigerians. So let's be honest. If you go out now and stop 10 people and ask them, do you trust this government? More than half will probably sigh. Some others will say, it get us a B. Some others will say yes. But right there, that is the challenge. For trust begets reputation. And trust deficit begets reputation deficit. People no longer take official statements at face value. They hear promises that don't match their pain. They see projects launched but rarely completed. They see their neighbor who just a year ago was trying to eke out a living and today is swimming in affluence. And when citizens stop believing their leaders, no amount of publicity can repair that loss of faith. So, and that's the very heart of credibility. When we talk about ethics of governance, we're talking about what leaders do when no one is watching. Because ethics is the summation of integrity plus transparency and accountability. It means doing the right thing, not the convenient thing. It's transparency in all forms, letting the light shine on decisions. And it's accountability, owning outcomes, whether they're good or bad. We all remember the Ebola response in 2014. There was clear communication, honest updates, collaborative efforts, and people trusted the process. And Lagos State became a global study. That is ethics and governance, leadership rooted in truth. But let's now talk about PR, our craft, your craft. Some people think it is all about packaging. They say, call the PR people, they'll polish it for you. But PR isn't perfume. It's principle, it's a principle, and it's the conscience of communication. Real PR isn't what you say after a crisis. It's what you practice before one begins. It's about listening before talking, engaging before announcing, and standing for truth before convenience. Our country today has a problem. Its biggest problem isn't the lack of information. It is lack of credibility. And I'm not talking about this administration, I'm talking about successive administrations. But for this administration, if you take the fuel subsidy removal, for example, the issue wasn't that it was a bad policy. It was how it was sold. People woke up one morning and they were shocked. They felt blindsided. So the anger wasn't about economics. It was about trust. They could have been prepared for it, even though the excuse was that it was already out of the budget, but it was a shock treatment, and that didn't go down well with people. That's why poor communications results in public trust. But when you compare that with Lagos during COVID-19, where there were daily briefings, clear data, and straight talk, you remember that people, even though they grumbled and rumbled, but they followed because they believed the messenger. That's the difference ethics make in communication. So how can PR genuinely help government rebuild reputation? Here are 5 practical ways to rebuild trust and reputation. You gotta listen. Too often, government assumes that it knows what the people want. Instead, it should start with listening, because listening humanizes authority. And it should use open channels like town halls, radio shows, the social media, the good ones, the good side of social media, and Q&As. And when Lagos began strict traffic enforcement, the LASMA took the hit. People hated that policy. But once the purpose, saving lives, was explained, the anger eased. And there is need for us to tell the truth, even when it hurts. Nigerians can handle bad news. What they can't handle is being deceived. Honesty breeds credibility. If a policy will cause pain, say so. And say why. But sometimes it doesn't work that way, because Mr. President has been saying that this policy of removing the subsidy will cause pain, and it hasn't gone down well with people. And the reason is because the hardship. is just one that we cannot bear with. So people forgive hardship faster than hypocrisy. You have to show impact, not intention. You don't promise, but you prove. Commitment is talk, but impact is trust. So we need to know the difference. Show them the new classrooms that have been built, the working borehole, the trained youth, because when citizens see the results, they start believing again. And sometimes what people really need most isn't policy, it is empathy. You need to empathize with them. Let leaders show up without cameras. Let them, well, that will impinge on our profits, but let them show up without cameras and speak simply and listen sincerely. So there must be empathy. If you remember Dora Akunyili, God bless her, she didn't need billboards. Her honesty was a brand. That leadership was a leadership that the public trusted in. And that was why she was so well revered. And there's need for us to admit mistakes and fix them. No administration is perfect. But humility is power. Because our accountability equals strength. When something goes wrong, admit it. Say, we missed the mark. And here's why we're changing it. And this is what we're changing to. And that's how you earn respect, not ridicule. Without trust, policies fail. Investors flee and citizens disconnect. But when trust thrives, progress follows. The role of the Nigerian Institute of Public Relations and its professionals, and those in Lagos and across the country, for this country should be one that is built on trust. But for this 25th anniversary, this isn't just a celebration. It's a rededication. Truth to power and power to the people. I say we because I do a bit of PR as well. In the PR community must be the conscience of governance, not decorators of image. We must be the defenders of integrity. Let the Public Relations Institute be remembered as the body that told the truth to power, respectfully, consistently, and fearlessly. What's the vision for the next decade? Imagine a Nigeria where government statements are believed because they've earned that belief, where transparency is the rule, not the exception, where PR is not spin, as has been espoused, but service. A Nigeria built on truth and trust. Just imagine. That is a possibility. It's a tough call, but it is possible. If we make ethics our compass and empathy our language, then that will be possible. So today, as we mark 25 years of the NECCI PR Roundtable, let us pledge that in every statement we draft, every message we shape, and every story we tell, truth will lead, ethics will anchor, and trust will follow. Because when governance is ethical and communication is genuine, reputation takes care of itself. For ethics plus truth equals reputation that endures. At this point, I'd like to ask that we roundly, since this is a round table, give recognition to the founder and the visionary, Nkechi Ali-Balogun, once again. and to give a charge that at least if there's anything we take out of this gathering today, we should be truthful in our ways. We should be trusting in all that we do. Because as a Christian, the question that I always ask myself, what would the Lord want me in all decisions that I take so that I could be in good stead with him? Let us be truthful at all times. Thank you very much indeed.
Keep clapping, please. Keep clapping. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you to the keynote speaker, my father, Dr. John Momoh. The runaway child always comes home. The runaway child always comes home. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, the charge to us is to stay true, regardless of what the situation might be. And as those of us that read the Bible always say, the truth will set you free. And someone says, what is the truth? My daughter asked that question, and I said to her, the truth is that which you will say 10 years from now and still not be afraid that you said it. So, speak the truth at all times. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, we'd like to recognize the presence of Iyom Josephine Aneni, MNI, former Minister of Women Affairs, who came in all the way from Ghana for this event. You're welcome, ma'am. I had asked for a list of the luminaries in this building because I recognized my father. I have professional colleagues, senior colleagues here, and I recognize all of them. But I see that there are some young people in the building that might be wondering, who are all of these people? Why am I even here? Why should I even pay attention to the things they are going to say before the panel kicks in and then before the award ceremony? I have my goodness, 2 pages. Wow. Wow. We'd like to recognize the presence of the Chairperson, Chief Executive Officer of the Nigerians in Diaspora Commission, Mrs. Abike Dabri-Erewa. So in case you don't know, some of you that you've just seen NTA, and many of you hardly even tune into NTA. Dr. John Momoh was in the NTA, 9 o'clock news. Mrs. Abike Dabri-Erewa was in the NTA, 9 o'clock news too. These are just a few, and there are many other people here, but hold on, you'll get to hear them. Also in the building, oh yes, Dr. Nkechi Ali-Balogun was also in the NTA. Please put your hands together for her. She has gone round, and she's still here. And someone said, if you must go far, have mentors and listen to your mentors. Don't just have them, listen. Also in the building, we have a former spokesperson for the president, the presidential spokesperson, Dr. Femi Adesina is in the building. Please put your hands together for him. Dr. Femi Adesina really had it rough at one time as a spokesperson. He really did. In the building, we have Malam Yakubu Lamai, who is also a broadcaster and Director General, Media, Nasarawa State. We also have Benga, I'm not saying this well. Benga Defai, former General Manager, Vanguard and Provost, Nigerian Institute of Journalism. Please, you're welcome, sir. You're welcome. Mr. Yomi Badejo Okuseya is also in the building. YBO is in the building. Chairman, Nigeria. Well, please, whoever wrote this thing, you need to go back to the handwriting school. Nigerian Reputation Management Group. Sir Yomi Badejo Okusaya. You're welcome, sir. He also organized the Nigeria Public Relations Week 2025, and it was very interesting that he is also been appointed to organize the first public. Well, that's what I'm saying here. Sir? What I see here? Oh, Croc City, Kaduna. Oh, yeah. Double notice. Please put your hands together. You're welcome, sir. In the building, we have Ogie Eboigbe. TPA.com. EPA.com. Please put your hands together for Ogie Eboigbe. EPA.com. Also in the building, we have Chief Ifi Onyegbole, DG Imo Broadcasting Corporation. In the building, we also have Shegun McMiddle, former chairman, Lagos State NIPR, and also a member of council. You're welcome, sir. We also have Samuel Ayetu. I hope I got that well. Chairman, Lagos chapter of NIPR. Ayetutu. Dr. Samuel Ayetutu, Chairman, Lagos chapter NIPR. Comfort Obot Nwankwo, former Chairperson, NIPR, Lagos chapter, is also in the building. I have to go and ask this one. I'm sorry, I've messed up some things here, and before I get sanctioned, I'm already being sanctioned. I didn't leave channels because I was sanctioned. That's the story for another day. But I won't tell the story. My father will tell the story. But as he said, a runaway child always comes home. Channels is home. That's my family. For life. With my full chest. Also in the building is Yeye Shobajo. Please put your hands together for her. The General Manager, Channels Television, is also in the building, Mr. Kingsley Uranta. These are a few of the names that have been given, but I say this again to you, the core members, the students who are in the building. These are all men and women that by the grace of God, you're going to hear them speak.
Thank you so much, Nyota. Please, keep clapping as he leaves. He's a man. Encourage him. Encourage him. Thank you so much, Dr. Momoh, for such a remarkable keynote address. And, you know, that forms the basis of the panel session that we're going to have right now. I'm really excited at the opportunity to be the moderator for this panel session. And we have some incredible powerhouses who will be speaking with us. Okay, so please join me. Of communication erodes trust. And, you know, so talking in that line, the fact that trust repeatedly shows up in researches as a key part of reputation, how would you recommend, or what would you recommend, given, you know, the different sort of things that you have done and your role, how would you recommend that trust, you know, be incorporated into governance frameworks for corporates?
Thank you, Lola. Good morning, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, and all the dignitaries that are here. And congratulations to Dr. Ali-Balogun for putting together this strong thought leadership platform for over a decade. Beyond the hard tangibles of the numbers, you know, this year. I think that's one of all the way to consumer trust. So I think having measures that are tangible enough, you know, to go into the KPI of the board, the management, and cascading in the teams is a good way to measure trust. And I think ultimately, yes, just the last thing. when trust is done in that way, it becomes almost like a moral conscience for the corporate and a moral conscience, for the country. I mean, I heard the chairman say, Dr. Momoh say, I ask myself, what, would the Lord have me do? So it's almost the corporates through the chain saying, am I, by this action, building trust with my stakeholders? Thanks, Lola.
That's amazing. I like how you talk about, incorporating into KPIs, because that's really the way that you ensure that it gets measured and it gets evaluated as to whether we're doing what we want to do and it's having the desired impact. So I'm going to come to you now, Samuel, and this question really is around, when you look at diversity in geographies, sometimes it often translates into diversity in cultures, the way we sort of approach things and all of that. And you are part of an entity that operates across multiple African markets. The different regulatory environments, the different cultural nuances, and all that goes with that. So in your opinion, how does ethical governance at a corporate level, how does it cascade to the different markets? How does it translate into what we do in different markets, and what principles remain consistent? So regardless of which market you operate in, regardless of what it is that you do, those principles are core and they're consistent.
Thank you very much, Lola. I should very quickly say at this point, hope you don't mind me, I noticed you did introduce Ramida George as the Corporate Affairs and Sustainability Director for Unilever. It's actually for Nigerian Bottling Company. Yes. So Nigerian Bottling Company is part of the Coca-Cola HBC group that operates in about 29 markets. If you're up to date with the news, because it was right fresh in the news yesterday, we've acquired Coca-Cola Beverages Africa, which was operating in 14 other markets in Africa. So when you add that up, we're currently in about 43 markets globally. So that's obviously a very big company. One thing that you would find that would be consistent throughout today would be setting things around trust, transparency, and all that. For an organization as large as ours, the fundamentals have to be right. So you would find that in our organization, we are constantly learning, relearning. Things as simple as our core values are literally everywhere. The comms and sustainability team typically will meet with the global team on a monthly basis at the regional level, and we're constantly reminding ourselves of the best practices and standards. Now, when you look at the peculiarity of the markets, the local teams are obviously empowered to be able to take decisions that apply to their markets, but the ethics, the code of conduct of business, and the core values that define who we are essentially inform the decisions that we make, irrespective of the market. It could be Lagos, it could be Cairo. That same consistency in terms of how we operate is visible in every market that we operate.
I like what you say about, that consistency, because I find that when as an institution you want to entrench things, then really that consistency makes a difference, because it really doesn't matter where it is. Being able to apply those principles repeatedly and regardless of where, that can make a big difference in terms of how we entrench those values and begin to derive the kind of benefits that we expect to see. I'm coming to you right away, Tokunbo. And there is this thing that, again, talking, just drawing on something that Dr. Momoh talked about. As a PR consultant, I imagine that, you deal with instances where there's a pressure. There's really that pressure from clients where you bring in your PR consultants and you want a spin. You want a spin on something, and they're negative situations. So rather than address the root causes, the client is looking for a spin. So how do you navigate the ethics of those kinds of things and the reputation management when a client's desired narrative conflicts with the transparency, and how does this ultimately affect their reputation?
Okay, I think we need to step back, and I'll tell you why. You need to, as a corporate, you need to build a lot of goodwill. If you've built a lot of goodwill throughout, when things like this happen, I won't call it spin, but you'll have a soft landing, right? So when people trust you as an organization, when people trust what you do, they see the accountability, they see the transparency all throughout the years, I think you will get a soft landing, right? And I think it's also important. What I say to my clients is like, I'm your doctor. Tell me all your symptoms. Tell me everything that is going on so that I can help you. Because sometimes we get half the story. We don't get the full story. And if you don't get the full story, you won't know how to navigate. And sometimes clients panic. What they want to spin is actually not a big deal. They're just afraid, right? So it's how you navigate, starting internally, right? Let's say something is happening internally in an organization and you think it's going to get out, it will affect you. How have you dealt with things internally first before it goes out? Again, it comes back to trust. Do your employees trust you? Do they think you're accountable? So it's actually at that time as well, when there's it's not really a spin, how can you get the good news out? I have a situation I'm working on now where I've had to correct a story, right? And I said to the clients, is there any other news stories that you have coming out that is relevant, that is newsworthy, that is credible, so that it can actually outweigh any other things? So you don't have to go there and lie, or what I don't like to do, I don't like to pull down stories unless it is really critical, because it doesn't give you the opportunity to give your side of the story. And sometimes people just panic because the journalist or whatever has listened to one side. You also need to be able to tell your story. So sometimes clients will say no comment. They don't address the issue, and the thing continues to milk. So they also have to be able to address the issue and nip it in the bud as soon as possible.
That's interesting. So essentially, no comment is not a strategy. And that part of what you talked about, I think it's really relevant when we look at the theme of this year's NECCI PR Roundtable. And that's around, when you were talking about soft landings and you were saying it just doesn't happen overnight. So you have to have been building that over time. You have to have been building that credibility, that trust. And that's a valid point. And Lamke, I'm coming to you now on a related sort of thread, and it's really around when a client's product, service, or their business practices, when those things raise ethical concerns. Sometimes they're just something, it just raises something. When it raises ethical concerns, but they want a positive reputation building campaign nonetheless, how do you navigate the tension? Because we have a lot of professionals here who, may be dealing with some of those kinds of tensions with their clients. How do you navigate? How do you is there a way to create a balance at all?
Thank you. Good afternoon. I think, first of all, ethics, and I think that Dr. Momoh, first of all, said something along ethics being doing the right thing. And I'll expand it to doing the right thing at the right time, always. And now, so if there are ethical issues concerning a product or a service, first thing is to clarify those ethical issues. You cannot build a reputation on a faulty foundation. And if a client, therefore, comes and is seeking to navigate, the first thing is you must put yourself in a place where you are a trusted advisor to that client and explain to them that you cannot build a strong brand or a strong reputation on a faulty premise. Again, building on what the keynote had said, reputation is what people think about you, but character is what you really are. if you don't address the character issues or ethical issues, on the long run, it will catch up. And therefore, we have to look at reputation building as strategic and not just tactical. And therefore, in addressing such ethical issues, I would advise such a client to address the gray areas. And having addressed those gray areas, then you can begin to build a reputation on what is truth. And I believe that your credibility as a corporate, as a nation, as a brand, is built when it's founded on truth and credibility. And so I will seek to navigate that from a strategic perspective as opposed to just a short-term benefit.
Okay, so address the gray areas, the ethical concerns, and then begin to build. That makes a lot of sense. I'm coming over to you again at this time, Samuel, and this is around really multi-stakeholder balance. You know, because in your role, for instance, you balance the interests of so many stakeholders. You have the consumers, your shareholders, you have your employees, you have your regulators, you have the communities. That's a lot of stakeholders that you're dealing with. Now, when the interests of these stakeholders conflict, and they often do, so when there's a conflict of interest among these stakeholders, what sort of framework guides your communication decisions from an ethics perspective, and how do you protect reputation while still being transparent?
Thank you very much for that question, Lola. Yes, you'll be surprised how often that happens. The truth is, you always have to try to balance expectations or manage expectations, as the case is. The important thing is you have to be fair. When you're dealing with multiple stakeholders, you have to be fair, you have to be transparent. But ultimately, when we make those decisions, we're looking at the long term. What is the best decisions, being fair and open, and the impact it will have in the long term. Now, when we are doing that with stakeholders, let's say, community stakeholders, for example, it's very important to show that empathy, to show that you're concerned, and often when you're making that decision, to be as inclusive as possible. Now, you cannot have everybody happy at every time. In this case, I'm talking about the stakeholders. But over time, when these stakeholders have come to observe that you are a brand that they can trust, and you build that reputation over time, it doesn't become a big problem anymore. So often, the decisions are based on fairness, and because of the impacts that it's going to happen in the long term, you'd find that you're able to manage the stakeholders effectively.
Thank you for that. So it's about fairness. And I mean, I would almost ask you a follow-up question, what is fair? But I won't. So it's about fairness and ensuring that you have a clear understanding of what the interests of all of those stakeholders are, and then saying what is fair in this. And I imagine that the answer to what is fair varies depending on the context and the circumstances. That's amazing. Thank you. There's a question that's really burning for me, Tokumbo, and that is social media activism has become such a strong force. It has toppled governments. It has brought down individuals that, we would think are untouchable. There's no running away from it. So with increased scrutiny on corporate behavior and the rise of social media activism, in your opinion, how must ethical governance, how must it evolve in corporate comms?
I think when we look at social media, there's a problem with being authentic. We're no longer authentic on social media. People are saying different things. There's a lot of false information. Brands need to come out and be more human. At the end of the day, they're dealing with the human being on the other side. So how do you make your brand connect in an authentic way to your stakeholders? Even when we're looking at how brands are using influencers, for example, Is it authentic? Is it communicating what we want to communicate? Are we telling the right story? On the other hand, social media is also good for brands for storytelling, because storytelling is a way for brands to be able to connect to their target audience. There's a good side and there's a bad side, right? Brands have to find the right balance for them, because at the end of the day, they want to be authentic, because people now use social media to comment about your brands, to give reviews about your brands. You have some banking apps that the AI is completely standard. You're asking something, they're giving you a response that does not apply to you. And all those things, once they give you a response, there's trust issue. You're not hearing what you want to hear. You're not having your problems solved in the way it's supposed to be solved. So that affects the trust in the system. So I think you need to identify your target audience, know the kind of things they want to hear, be authentic with your voice, relay what they want to hear, have a feedback mechanism as well to be able to ensure that they know that you're communicating in an authentic manner. So I think we shouldn't get carried away. We should come back to why we're doing that campaign. What do we want to communicate? Will people believe us? Will they understand? Do they know what is going to happen? Because we have to just have that authentic voice to support that brand.
Authentic voice. That's what I get out of that, because that's what really makes the brand and institution unique and distinguished. You can distinguish them from another one. And I think that example that you gave around the AI, the chatbots, and the kind of responses that you get and how it affects trust, that's actually such a crucial sort of example as to how some of the things that perhaps organizations might not even be looking into, those things are actually playing an important part in defining how they're perceived. Okay, I would like to invite up at this time Mr. Rufai Oseni. Please put your hands together for him. Please. Yes. Thank you so much. Mr. Oseni is here ably representing Professor Abiodun Adeniyi, who's a professor at Bayes University. Thank you so much for joining us. Okay, so I'm coming over to, I'm going to give Rufai a couple of minutes to just settle down, and then I will bombard him with all of the questions that have been waiting for him. But I'm coming right away to you, Langpe, and as the head of an integrated marketing and communications agency, your work is, amongst many others, to help brands craft their public image. So how do you ensure that the creative campaigns, the brand messaging, all of that output, how do you ensure that they're built on a really strong ethical foundation? And how does this impact long-term reputation versus short-term buzz? We're just talking a few minutes ago about social media and all of that. So how do you put it all together and ensure the right kind of balance?
Thank you. Again, I will respond to that looking at 4 key drivers of building a strong brand or reputation. And one key one is quality. Again, this is back to ensuring that you're fulfilling the promise to the target audience. So in crafting any campaign, I would advise any brand, any client, that what are you offering? What is the promise? And seek to ensure that the campaign is built around that promise and the fulfillment of that promise. If that promise cannot be fulfilled, or there is a real danger of not being fulfilled, again, it's about speaking the truth. I know that in advertising, you can say, or in PR, you can say you spin, or you can tell a story, but it has to be still connected back to the foundation of the quality or the perceived quality. I'll share a personal experience. Some years ago, I managed a major FMCG brand, and we were running campaigns. It was a market leader, but at some point, we had an issue with the product. And the rest of the business was saying, you must find a way to sell the product. And as brand manager, I said, there's no way I am going to tell a story that is truthful, that will not come back to haunt us if the product was not right. So the first thing to do was ensure that the product is right. So it's back again on the foundation of truth, the foundation of quality and living up to the promise. And so once that is done, then we can craft a story that accentuates the positives of the brand or the person or the nation. So that will be the approach. Ultimately, it's about ensuring that one fulfills certain basic minimums around ethics in terms of marketing, communication, or PR.
Thank you. And that example that you gave, actually, it's the perfect opening for the question that I actually have for you, Rufai. And that is around, when you look at what's being taught in schools around ethical PR and what practitioners face in the real world, sometimes you can see that there is a bit of a gap there. So in your opinion, what are the most significant ethical dilemmas that you see emerging in corporate reputation management today? And how do you think that PR education needs to evolve such that what we're teaching in the schools prepares practitioners for the real world?
Okay, thank you. And I apologize for coming in a little bit late. There was a misalignment on time. I thought it was supposed to start 12:30. I'd made plans for it, but I heard it started earlier. But that's very good, by the way. So as regards what is being taught in schools, the truth has to be said that you are going to have differences in between what is being taught and real-life scenarios. I think the missing link should be putting scenario planning and learning into the curriculum. A lot of that, yes, have been done these days with case study analysis and the likes, but we must be able to look deep into scenarios because, yes, hypothetical scenarios in school, it's always a good one. You'll think through it, but when you are passing through it, when a client actually says, there's a real harm on my reputation and I had to get it sorted out, that's another ballgame entirely. And when you look at that, there is no one size fits it all for your response. But the first and the most important thing is, like you said rightly, sir, you need to be able to tell the truth. PR itself, it's not spin. PR itself is a calculated attempt to say it the way it is. And I'll repeat that. PR itself is not spin. It's a calculated attempt to say it the way it is. Because when you're in a dilemma and there's public discourse might not always be right. What PR does is for you to bring the clarity in the room with the vantage point of the information you have. To put another argument on the table that a lot of people are not looking at. And that's what the public relation is all about. Because when you look at society or anything that happens with a brand, an individual, a nation, and everything, there are different narratives. But it's you saying, I hear all your narratives, I hear all your arguments. This is my own argument in a narrative, and it needs to be backed up with facts. So the question is, the true test of your work will be, are you telling the truth? But most of the time, what happens is that people just lie with the narrative. They just tell porkies like no one's business. And they try to lie with data, they like to lie with data progression and other things like that. And when you do that, you get found out in the end, and it ruins the prospect even more. So I think there's a need to be able to incorporate scenario planning in the curriculum. But no matter how they teach you, nothing will ever prepare you to what you will see in a real life scenario. It's just the principles of what you learned, but most importantly, letting the truth be in the cornerstone and not trying to keep a client. Because the problem is always the desperation. I want to keep a client, then you lie to the client. Then you lie on behalf of the client. Then you destroy your own reputation. I'll tell a very, very vivid example. There used to be a company set up by somebody that worked with Margaret Thatcher called Bell Pottinger that was working with the Gupta brothers out of South Africa. Obviously, he knew the Gupta brothers had a lot of problems, but he kept on at it. In the end, when the Gupta brothers fell hard, Bell Pottinger as a PR agency too fell hard. So there's a knock-on effect on your persona. So for the fact that you're doing PR for somebody and a client, what happens to the person you defend, the brief you take, also affects you. Because in building the reputation of the individual, you're also in return building your own reputation. And really, is it really worth it to destroy your reputation over somebody that you can as well say, I'm not going to do this? And in the end, yes, I know we all hustle to keep the business running, to keep the engines running. Either ways, if you build a track record of integrity, you will still get the business 4 lines. Another part I want to talk about is understanding. Because I see a lot of delusion going on in society with the proliferation of social media. And they think, oh, yes, it's a vantage point in the conversation. Please, let's always remember, social media is just a vertical. It's not the main thing. Just like you have your radio, your newsletter, your newspaper, and everything. And all of these things is part of the growth of social media. The delusion is we think that, oh, everybody's on social media. When you check the empirical stats, not everybody's on social media. Out of the 8 billion population, Facebook, with how mighty and big it is, I'm not sure have up to about 4 or 5 billion. So what about the rest? So we have to also understand that this social media talk, it's just a vertical, just like other verticals. And every vertical is important when it comes to reputation management. Just as your over 90 radio stations in Lagos is important, your television is important, your terrestrial platform is important, your newspaper is important, your newsletter is important, and any other media touch point. In fact, I even tell people, even your town crier is important because it's a media touch point. So in understanding that, it will help practitioners to be able to plan effectively and not just be swayed by the level of delusion. I mean, there are many things I've worked on and many clients, I have worked with that I've seen that their conversion was not even on social media. Yeah, you could get exposures and views on the numbers, and Facebook will give you analytical, Twitter will give you analytical, but your conversion might really be on the lower kid that listens to the radio. So it's just about understanding perspective, because I see a lot of people get drawn in, it's just the vertical.
Thank you very much. So the key thing there is the fact that there will always be a gap. But what then needs to happen more than probably we're seeing is that there needs to be an increase in the scenario plannings and what's happening in the schools to ensure that, there is more practical preparation, so to speak, for as far as PR education goes. Now, I'm wrapping up my panel session with a question for you, Dr. Nkiru. And, I think this also sits at the heart of quite a lot of the things that we've talked about. And that is around corporate social investment. I like how that, your organization, sort of puts all of that together. Now, CSI integration is a part of your portfolio. How do you ensure that CSI communications are ethically aligned with business operations? What are some of the things that you've seen around and areas that you feel there are opportunities to improve on what's happening?
Thanks, Lola. I think a good place to start would be to ensure that CSI, purpose precedes CSI. I think that's a good place to start, which is what is your purpose, and how are you willing to use your purpose to move the community forward? One of the corporates that I've worked for says that Africa is their home and we drive her growth. And what you then see is it reflects in the type of investment you make, it reflects in the type of financial products that you design, it reflects in the kinds of solutions that you take into market. The second thing is to realize that CSI is not ornamental. It's not, nice earrings or nice necklaces, to put on your products. It's actually tangible. And therefore, there should, for everywhere that CSI is run, in the heart of it should be measurement, which is how are you measuring impact? And just on measurement, you would find that a lot of people are quite focused on measuring the output, but what is more tangible is measuring the outcomes, which is obviously an offshoot of the output. And I think at the heart of that is the ethical storytelling. And what does that mean? It means saying it as it is and not whitewashing it or greenwashing it. I mean, I see, a few corporate social impact reports where people are, giving carbon numbers, and it's interesting because they're giving this carbon footfalls and carbon numbers, and you also see them, with repeated travels, which means that they are obviously partaking in, this carbon emission. So I think it's being truthful and being honest and avoiding all of the greenwashing and aligning it with your purpose. And I think most importantly is understanding how to measure the outcomes, not just the outputs that you churn out. Again, I just want to reiterate that it isn't ornamental. You're not doing it for the fancies or the beauty. It should be more tangible. And maybe I should, just wrap off by telling a story of an infrastructure project that was financed in one of the African countries, and the team are quick, to tell a story of X number, millions of kwacha was invested in the project. But that's great, but that's not actually the hard impact. The hard impact is a lady who might just be by the roadside who was selling, fishes, but because the road has opened up, she's selling a lot more, because there is access. And alongside that is the children who needed a ferry to go to school but can now walk across, the simple bridge that has been built to go to school. So I think being truthful is really important, understanding that it needs to align back into your purpose and ensuring that you measure outcomes, not just the outputs. Thank you.
Wow, that's amazing. Please put your hands together for my amazing panelists. I could go on, but I've asked myself, what would be fair at this time? And what would be fair is for me to carry my things and leave so that we can have a second amazing panel session. Please, thank you so much. Help me put your hands together again for my panelists, Mr. Lamke Omoyele, Mr. Rufai Oseni, Dr. Nkiru Olumide Ojo, Mr. Kumo George Taylor, and of course, Mr. Samuel Ibo Roma. Thank you so much for your insights and for being here with me. Okay, photo session.
Thank you very much. Please put your hands together for them for this panel. If you can, please put your hands together for this panel. There will be another panel session, and insights shared here are insights we can work with any day, Anytime. These are time-tested impacts, time-tested insights, as the case may be. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Please put your hands together one more time for the panel. And while we're waiting to settle down, there will be another panel, which is quite short, but there are a couple of things we will do. We'd like to recognize the presence of Tony Ajemono, former manager, marketing, Nigeria Breweries, who's in the building. Also in the building is Moshood Ali-Balogun, the man behind the dream. Please, can you put your hands together for this man behind the dream? Please, we'd like to recognize the presence of Mr. Mahmoud Ali-Balogun, filmmaker, producer, director, and intellectual property expert. He's the man behind the dream. If he's not standing, Dr. Nkechi Ali-Balogun may not be standing. Please put your hands together for this man one more time. Also in the building we have Mr. Adetola Odusote, PR CAN member and ESCO of PR CAN. You're welcome, sir. Mrs. Tokumbo George Taylor, Assistant General Manager of PR CAN, is in the building. Mr. Hassan Abdul is the General Secretary of PR CAN. Mr. Bolaji Abimbola is a former General Secretary of PR CAN. Also in this building, thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. We have Dr. Monday Ashibogu, PRO PR CAN and CEO of Billbox. You're welcome, sir. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, we heard this woman speak. We heard this woman speak, but apparently she's also deserving of an award. I'd like to welcome Haji Alami Tumaka to present an award to Dr. Nkiru Olumide Ojo. Please keep clapping. Keep clapping. We'll just, please keep clapping, keep clapping. I'd like to invite to the award stand Dr. Nkiru Olumide Ojo, the recipient of the award as a member of the NECCI PR Roundtable Hall of Fame.
Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, can I have your attention, please? We're given a very important award here, and I need to let you know that one meeting, please. Abike, thank you. I need to mention that Nkiru flew all the way from Johannesburg to attend this event. I think we need to give her a very warm round of applause. It shows her dedication, her commitment to the causes that are championed by women, championed by people, and particularly by women. So another round of applause for her, please. I see SB. SB, you have not been recognized. You came in all the way from Abeokuta. You're welcome. You're welcome. So this award is for, can you help me hold it while I read what is there? This, it's for a trailblazer and a leader inducted in recognition of her outstanding contributions and achievements. Congratulations. Congratulations. Nkechi, yes. Join us. Yes. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. You want to say a word or two? Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, moving on real quick, we'd like to invite to the microphone a young man who would help us put all of this together in word. Please join me to welcome for spoken word, Onome Enakerapo. Please put your hands together for him as he comes. Onome Enakerapo for, please.
Thank you very much, sir. Good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon, everybody. Can we take a moment and appreciate what has been done so far today? Deep, deep words of knowledge. Okay, so I will be doing a piece, a poetry piece. As you listen, enjoy, and I dare say, be blessed. Say amen. So let's put our hands together once again. Okay. This piece is creatively crafted for a unique breed. For within this breed lies the seed to succeed and breed nations. I speak of the one whose identity is beauty. The one who is faithful and loyal to every duty. The one who is flawless in plenty, faultless, hardly guilty. I speak of the one whose roots are deep in Mother Nature. The one whose origin is rich with potentials. The one who shines like a star. The one who holds the record of the world like the book of Guinness, made of black, but wrapped in. So this piece is peace to bring peace and pierce through the burdens of our hearts, that we may become vessels. Vessels wrapped in honor to present the present of the presence of greatness. For we were formed from a firm foundation, firmly footed in our fullness until we were found and transformed from our former format to being flawless and faultless. For we were found and transformed by the foremost Father, God. So in every one of us lies this effect that takes away defect. So when we stand in the mirror, what reflects is a version of us made perfect. I speak of you. I speak of me. I speak of us. I speak of the Nigerian. Our identity precedes us. And this is the season to bask in that identity. This is the season to be seasoned and seized in the seasoning that brought about the aroma of hope. Aroma of hope which gave us the fast food for greatness. Fast food for greatness. Our identity tells us that we're strong. We are bold. We cannot be played or fall like dominoes. We don't chicken out of challenges. In the face of challenges, we stand tall like the mountain Kilimanjaro. Because now we are at the place where we feel the sweet sensation of being known for competence. Known for competence, KFC. So, in your journey, remember to put yourself first. like the 1st of January. When it comes to making impact, be consistent, unlike the 29th of February. For we have been blessed with the greatness to march into greater things, that all our aspirations, dreams will become real like April. That we may be anew and in tune with the month of June. We have been raised high to fly in July. And even in times where we fall, we pick ourselves up and dust ourselves from all forms of rust in August. We break ember goals. We break ember goals in September. Enjoy freedom even as a nation in October. That we may forever remember in December that the relevance of our reputation lies in our identity. So, as you move, remember to bank on yourselves. Bank on your abilities. You should first bank on yourself, for you have the access to greatness. In the face of adversaries, stand big. Stand big as you approach the way to the Polaris. In your union with greatness, your fidelity should belong to you, because like diamond, you have been made sterling. Have a guaranteed trust in yourself. You will become unbeatable by adversaries. Unbeatable by adversaries. And that will take you to the zenith. So, shine. Glow. Rule your world. Become a message to nations. Message to nations. MTN. Everywhere you go. For the air cannot tell enough of your beauty. So when the star comes, there are multi-links through which you shine. You have been blessed in numbers higher than 9. Be mobile. Dominate. Thank you.
He started by reminding us that in each of us there is life, there is possibility. And then he goes on to use the brands we are all aware of to tell us how to position ourselves for where we need to get to. But in all of these things, we must stay true. Thank you very much, Onome. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, we're taking the second panel. This panel will be focused on reputation in governance. Please join me to welcome the moderator, Tolulope Olorundero, founder, Nigerian Women in Public Relations. Tolulope Olorundero. Okay, I saw her around. I think she stepped out. Please, can someone? Here she comes. Please put your hands together for her. She comes. Put your hands together for her. She comes. All right, thank you very much. And real quick, I've been asked to do this. I'd like to invite on stage the panelist, Dr. Femi Adesina, former essay on media and publicity to the president. Honorable Abike Dabri-Erewa, Chief Executive Officer, Nigerians in Diaspora Commission. Malam Yakubu Lamai, Director General, Events Management, Nasarawa State. Please. Dr. Alice Ajay, Project Manager, Host Communities Development Trust, SNEPCO. I don't know if Dr. Obi Naezobi, AGM Corporate Communications, NCDMB is here. Okay, he's still expected. Please put your hands together as the panel kicks in.
Thank you so much. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm sure that we've had a very engaging and insightful discussion so far. Yes. Please put your hands together for our evenly distributed and very invested in the branding and positioning of our nation, Nigeria. In the interest of time, I'll go very quickly into the conversation and first take the opening remarks, as it were, of the panelists in talking about reputation building from your perspective and the work that you've done before and that you're currently doing. How does building reputation for government, how has it been from your experience? I'll start with Madam.
All right, thank you very much. Okay. Good afternoon, everybody. Good to be here. So, building reputation from the address that we got from Reputation John Momoh, you can hear very clearly, and I had it noted down. The key thing there is who you are. So for me, character is what reputation is all about. So perceptions is reality to somebody. So what people think is their reality. And what you can do about that is your character. And that's what is your reputation in their eyes. So whatever it is we do, either as a brand, government, wherever it is that we are in, the key thing we need to start doing and to do well is to build our character. When you build your character, reputation follows. So all the ingredients we talk about, trust, integrity, respect for people, honesty, all of them are rolled into your character. So it's very important that the character is built, and from there, the reputation will follow. Positive reputation.
Thank you so much, Dr. Alice. Let me contextualize that question so that it's a bit more personal and it doesn't sound theoretical for us this afternoon. So, Mr. Lamai, how do we build a reputation through events? So government hosts many events. There's a lot of budget put into such events. How does that aid reputation building in governance?
Okay, I've had the rare privilege of serving free executive governors in the country. The first position I held was that of Senior Special Assistant to the Executive Governor of Bauchi State. And then I also held position of spokesperson for the immediate past governor of Nasarawa State, Senator Makura. And I'm presently also holding the same portfolio as Director General Strategic Communication to the current governor, Engineer Sule. Now, as a spokesperson who is supposed to distill, the image of the governor, protect what government does, and make sure that you dispel whatever it is that casts a very negative perception about state and what they do, I think the first thing to do is to understand the purpose of your principal, the person that you're serving, because your integrity and his integrity are actually tied together. You have to be able to say to His Excellency, sorry, Your Excellency, I won't be able to go outside, and see responsibility and accountability within everyone else. So for you, the spokesperson, responsibility and accountability within everyone else. So for you, the spokesperson who disseminates or communicates the message of government, what I try to do is I look at all the indices of good governance. Is it the HDI, the UNDP's Human Index report, or is it the Mo Ibrahim Prize, or what are the parameters or indices of good governance, or is it the one they call the European Label of Excellence, the ISO 37,000, which is supposed to set a benchmark for good governance. And you see if your principal is interpreting those things in terms of his deliverables, security, good governance, rule of law, and all of those things, or even keeping to the promises that he promised the electorate. That way it is easier for you as the spokesperson to actually communicate him creditably, because you're actually speaking from the point of credibility and truthfulness and substance and resonance. So basically that is how I would approach it. That would ensure for you reputation if you have a principle that is resonant, somebody who has substance, who has credibility, backed up with his actions and is actually doing what he's supposed to do. Otherwise, you offer me the job, I'll say, no, Your Excellency, thank you. I would not work for you.
Absolutely. That's so profound, and that's something that for us as communication professionals, we always remind ourselves that our first and perhaps most important responsibility to our principals is perhaps as their advisors, sometimes as the mirror. You must be able to tell your principal the truth and be willing to face the consequences, whatever that may be, as it comes. Let's move on. It's still the same question, but again to contextualize it to your experience. I mean, I grew up watching Abike Dabiri on TV, and it's so exciting, really. First to sit here with you, but also to have watched your career over the years. So from transitioning from someone who reported the activities of government, as it were, to now being in government, and then hold the responsibility to shape the reputation and perception of Nigeria through the activities of Nigerians in diaspora. How do you shape reputation? How do you manage Nigeria's reputation, managing those two, that transition and what you're doing now?
Thank you very much. And again, let me thank my sister Nkechi for putting this together, and your wonderful husband. And what I'll say actually is tied to virtually everything Mr. Momoh has said in his keynote speech. So I'll add character, which both of you have said. And number one, you have to be who you are. So if you're not who you are, whatever you are, you're just going to get worse or get better in any position that you have. So just put yourself into your job, and like he said, trust, competence, character, be who you are, and just put in your best in everything you do. So being in Parliament for 12 years, I believe I did my best. Then worked very hard. I was chairman of the Diaspora Committee. Everybody said Diaspora, what rubbish committee, useless committee. But I chaired it. And today we have a Diaspora Commission that has helped Nigeria's reputation. And if you look at the analysis today, our narratives are changing. And thanks to our brothers and sisters abroad, who we keep encouraging to do the right thing. There are still challenges, no doubt, but mine is, you can't get it all right. You're going to be criticized, things will go wrong, but put in your best into whatever you do. Trust. We had to build the trust of Nigerians abroad. It took a while, but now they are the ones calling you. Look what I've done. 22 girls just came. They're supposed to receive, I'm supposed to see them at the airport. All they did was come because Abike Dabiri said we should come home. We had a door of return where we received over 100 participants because Diaspora Commission said we should come. So I think just everything you said. And then compassion. Compassion in governance. And I would say, generally speaking, I think compassion is missing in our lives generally. Something happens at the toll gate, a trailer is burning, people are saying what to steal. If you are compassionate, that money is meant not to be stolen, but to be used for the people. But at that, you just want to put in your best. You still be, even Buhari you're talking about, that's not the impression on social media about him. So let's leave that to Femi to answer. So the question, what I want to now say is, what about you? You are putting your best. You say, trust me. You're doing and you know that you have the fear of God. But what happens to those so-called other people that want to damage your reputation? And I'll tell just one short story. It had to happen because I saw Rufai was saying it here. So I'm in Calabar. I'm working very hard, doing something else, and I go all over social media. Abike Dabiri calls Igbos monkeys and apes. How? Where? The next thing you see trending. How? Rufai said he just took something and put it on his page. CEO Abike Dabiri has called Igbos monkeys and apes. Then today not amplifies it. Then you sit down in your corner. You don't want to cry, but you just say, how? Who wants to do this to me? But what do you do in that circumstance? Character. Faith in yourself and what you're doing. I just let it flow. The real people, unless they call me, they say, we know you can't do that. We know you, your reputation, 15 years. But then, that has passed over. People from NTA that I knew for years came to defend me. All my Igbo friends came to defend me. Character. You get what I'm saying? Because they knew. So again, what do you do about people who all they want to do is just because you're in politics? And then, John, you talked about Dora Kuyili. If Madame Dora was alive today, with the kind of social media we have, you may not be praising her the way you are praising her. That is the reality. Things have gone very bad. My brother, I don't want to mention you, but you know. We set up a bill. One of the things that they power, a bill to enhance the practice of journalism. I would say people like John Momoh, Ali-Balogun, Uncle Sam, let's regulate, self-regulation. But Guild of Editors just went to town, abused me, I'm used to abuses. Abike wants to kill the media. I declared Abike bill. Nobody looked at, and I was seeing social media growing. I said, let us do something. It became Abike's bill. Every editor abused me. It was a decision by the Guild of Editors. The first was Azu, the last was Son. No, the last was Awoyefa. My saviors were television, radio, because they knew what I was talking about. What do you do about people's reputation that are being damaged? But today, if we had that bill, that would have had people like John, my sister here, PR practitioners, to have a standard. So when all these things are coming up, you can have a standard. We're not saying, gauge anybody, but there should be a standard, but nothing. And I believe that journalism is, I'm not so proud of what we're saying, but a lot can be done with what Nkechi is doing here, having this conversation and see how we can, So that is it. And Mr. John, your paper, I think should be given to every government official as a Bible to read. We may or may not do it, but at least let them know, let's try and follow what you have told everybody to do. Thank you very much.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. Certainly, we will come to the question about building reputation using digital platforms, because that's like an elephant in the room and will be off point, really, if we don't address that point. Let's come to Femi Adesina. Please, he has given me permission to recuse the use of doctor and just call him Femi Adesina. I needed to tell them so that they won't think, you will let on.
What if we say no? With the panelists.
Well, I mean, that's a conversation that he needs to have. So I will come to Femi Adesina. So it's very interesting that, again, I was quite also active, really, and very conscious politically when you manage communication for the president. And I must say that not all the things done during that tenure were, did I personally consider things that should have been done, right? But this is a time to have some part of the conversation. It's not a tell-all. But how do you manage reputation? First, internally, because you must start from the inside. If the people that you're seeking to project are not on the same boat or don't agree with what you're saying, it's difficult to then get the buy-in of external stakeholders. How do you balance reputation building when a subset of your stakeholders are up in arms, essentially, against what you're doing, but you have a responsibility to communicate the activities of government and your principle to these same people? How do you balance that and ensure that reputation is maintained?
Thank you very much. I want to thank the keynote speaker, Dr. John Momoh, for talking about reputation and trust. Trust. It is very important to trust your government. If you don't trust your government, there is nothing that government will do. Even if it does well, you will pretend not to see it. So it is very important that we get a government that we can trust. As long as government has question marks, particularly in terms of ethics, it's going to be difficult to trust that government. And no matter what they do, we will be cynical about that kind of government. So it's very important that we have a government we can trust. Why did I go to serve Buhari? Remains the same. Remains the same. If I had been called to serve a government I couldn't trust, no matter what you offered me, I wouldn't take it. I wouldn't take it. I needed to be able to trust a government I would speak for. And that was what happened with the Buhari administration. I was at a wedding on Saturday. One woman met me, and I didn't know her. She said, "You are a very courageous spokesman, but you loved your boss too much. And at times, I didn't like you for it." But that's it. I must believe in the person I had been invited to speak for. If I didn't believe in him, no matter what you are offering me, I wouldn't take the job. So, the challenge for Nigeria and for Nigerian leadership is trust. Trust. The public must be able to trust the leadership of the country.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. Thank you for that. I will come to you, Mr. Lamai, very quickly before I go to Dr. Alice, and just to ask this very simple question. We are in Nigeria, and there is this perception, as it were, that if you don't believe, you're working for government, you're a spokesperson of the governor, for example, but then the governor is taking certain decisions, the government is doing certain things that the people are not happy with. And you are to communicate these decisions, these policies to the people, but you personally don't believe in it. Is there any room to say these things that the government is doing is against my personal ethics and moral standing? Therefore, I can no longer work with this government. I would rather step down to protect my personal reputation. That's not something that we see a lot in our country. But is that a path that communications professional can consider if they come into government from a place of trust? I trust my principal, I believe they're going to do the right things. But when they get into government, things change for whatever reason. Is that a path that professionals can consider to say, I need to protect my reputation if things are not going to change, and step away?
Okay, let me just speak to reality. I was studying film production in Ohio University. So I went to the library, Alden Library, that's what's called, and I saw a book called The African Revolutionary, Life and Times of Nigeria's Aminu Kano. And I stayed in the library and practically read the entire book for 3 hours. And I picked up the book and I said, it's written by Alan Feinstein. This is an American writing about a Nigerian, and I am from Nigeria. So I completely decided there and then that I was going to shoot a documentary film about this individual, Aminu Kano. Now, for those of you who don't know, Aminu Kano was the opposition leader during the First Republic, MPC, when Nigeria started its political experiment. And he was the only lone opposition person, in northern Nigeria. And by 1983, he was the first person to actually bring forth a vice presidential candidate to contest during the elections. And our very venerable, very respected Chinua Achebe wrote the book called Trouble with Nigeria. And in the book, if you read the preface, it says it is dedicated to Aminu Kano and Louis Mbanefo. So look, when we talk Nigeria, sometimes I think we don't understand our country. Now, indeed, there were people of mettle and integrity. So I did about 3 years. I came to Nigeria 6 times, and I did a biographical documentary film in 2008, which was the overall winning entry, in Zuma Film Festival. And then I returned to the country because, I liked his integrity. And then I have never worked for late President Muhammadu Buhari. But I can tell you, and Femi doesn't know, I actually shot the longest biographical documentary on President Muhammadu Buhari. I sat down with him, I discussed in his house, I discussed with his daughter Halima, and she said, look, my father said when we were growing up, he wouldn't give us any money when he goes. When he dies, you won't find money, so I was just going to give you education. So now, if I give you that entire work of about 2.5 hours, it speaks to facts. And I asked him, and I said to President late Buhari, and I said to him, before he became president, I'm going to go to Obasanjo, go to all the others who criticize you to ask their candid opinion about you. and Obasanjo said he was a man of integrity. All of them actually said that. That was me, a student of Phil, a Ford Foundation fellow, doing my work on my own part because of my personal convictions, my love for my country, and the fact that I needed to, stand by integrity. And because I saw those traces of Aminu Kano in Muhammadu Buhari. And when I came to, the first person I worked for was Yuguda. I came to just visit him, and he said, I want to make you Senior Special Assistant Media. And I said, but Your Excellency, I only came here to talk to you about the launching of my video film. And the man laughed. So of course you can say no. There's no rule that... I am working with the current governor of Nasarawa State. His name is Engineer Abdullahi A. Sule. He's a Lagos boy. He is a person who was the immediate past group managing director of Dangote Sugar. He was one time the managing director of African Petroleum AP. And when he took over African Petroleum, it was in the negative with about 25 billion. He went against the advice of shareholders, and he declared it to the Nigerian public. But after 5 years, he turned it around to a positive of 5 billion before he left. His antecedents spoke for him. He is one governor, and I can't say I remember any governor in Nigeria who till today has said, during the 6 years that I've been with him, that just like Dr. John Momoh has said, he said the only fear he has is the day he will meet his creator, how he would account for his stewardship. There must be godliness. There must be a higher purpose for why we are politicians and why we're leading. And that is why I can work for him. Somebody else comes and you give me, whatever millions, I can say to you, and I'm advising all communication persons to say, no, I would not do it. So the episode and the lecture given by the keynote speaker first should actually have, and listen to each of the words and understand it. It must be driven by higher purpose and ideals, and believe in our country, the whims and caprices of just progressing in your career. So, and I think that is basically what should drive a career. So, and I think that is basically what should drive us as communication persons.
Thank you.
As communication persons.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for those examples as well. I'm going to ask the same questions of Abike Dabiri and Mr. Phil, Dr. Alice now, and just to say that storytelling and documentation is critical in reputation building. Imagine reading about Aminu Kano by reading a book written by a non-Nigerian. I think the question, one of the things that we should go back home today with, is the question of how in public relations and communications. Because indeed, if we don't write our own stories, who will? I'll come to empowerment programs. We go to host communities. We do empowerment programs. I'm sure that we've seen videos and pictures of wheelbarrows.
It means something is not there. But what I want to say, and from my experience, I've worked for more than 2 decades in the oil and gas industry. And when you talk about development, community development, intervention doesn't cut it. So there has been a lot of shifts, a lot of mistakes made over time in empowering people, if you want to use that word, in ensuring that they hold the reins of the empowerment themselves. So those interventions we found over time doesn't work. Luckily, the government has come out with the long-awaited Petroleum Industry Act, which is former PIB for those who are as old as myself, now PIA, 2021. Because of the young people in the room, I want to just do a little bit of history. So the PIA Chapter 3, can go and read it, it's a public document, talks about how communities should be developed through setting objects on social media. So maybe many may not have heard it. But it is a very important law and something that my heart is very happy about for that being set up. I don't know if Abike was the house when that was eventually passed. So this says that for you to do any development in the oil and gas industry host communities, you must do it in certain ways. It's very prescriptive. It's not something you do anyhow. There's no anyhowness in this one. Before now, the oil industry, and I'm using that because that's where my forte is, a lot of people did a lot of programs their way, interventions, as our moderator called it. But now, there's a number of trusts. You have to set up trusts. And those trusts were going to be the ones to drive the development. So you have in the trust the board of trustees, just as you have for NECCI. You have the management committee. You have the executive and the non-executive. And you have the law was passed. There were gray areas. We heard of gray areas. There was no regulations at that time. So you did what you needed to do, being transparent with the people to say, this is what the law has said. Sorry, you won't have this done this way anymore. It's going to be done this way.
To Madam Abike, we're going to asking from your experience as a media expert and understanding that your work relies on interacting with citizens directly. There's a lot of conversations happening on social media. What would you say should be the responsibility of citizens in building and maintaining the reputation of the country through the use of digital platforms? And of course, please also answer that question of, should communication professionals step aside when their integrity is going to be on the line, working with a certain kind of government? 2 questions.
Okay, the first one, sorry, 2 long questions now. Okay. Let's start with the first one.
Okay, so
communicating.
Yes, so what's the responsibility of citizens in using digital platforms to maintain the reputation of the country?
So I look at it both ways. As we have heard here, number one, for communication has to be instant. My own is, don't bring my country down. If you do that, I will come at you because, like I said, we all should be, I use that word, let's all be unapologetically Nigerian. There are challenges. We talk about trust. Okay, President Tinubu came to announce subsidy. He believed in what he wanted to do. It's been tough, but it's only a sincere president that will take the toughest decisions so that those youth corpers and generations yet your board will remember that somebody took the tough decisions. If he was thinking about second term, he would not take those tough decisions. You get to your second and then deceive people. So it's a two-way traffic, two-way communication. Most importantly, let's respect each other and respect her. They didn't say tell. He came and told that story again to everybody. Told them, I did not lie. This is what happened. And that was the end of the story. They believed him, clapped for him. His major opponent, they changed caps. That one wore his cap, he wore his cap. He did not know until Wednesday that I had to get tail off the streets. Yes. I paid. And I did not collect anything from him. And after that, and today, Masari is someone that I believed in as speaker. And I knew he wasn't telling lies. Today, he became governor, he's now a leader. It was after I told him the story. So I think, deal with the circumstances the way you deem it fit. I dealt with the way I felt was right, and I don't have any regrets. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And then finally...
I'm sorry, please, government officials, use social media to communicate. They will abuse you, but it's okay. But give out your information. Say what you have to say. The real people know. Youth corpers, do you watch channels television? A lot of them don't watch regular. That's where they get their information. So use it. Abuse me now. My mother will say a book in Yoruba Palace. If you say I'm a fool, am I a fool? As long as you are not impeaching my integrity and my character, it's okay. It's part of the job.
Fantastic.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. And then, of course, if you cannot manage those social media platforms yourself, there are quite a number of public relations professionals in this room that you can absolutely engage as your strategic communications consultants. I'm sure there are many here who can pitch. And then finally, to Femi Adesina, we've talked about the responsibility of citizens in managing reputation. Now we must look at the responsibility of the media. And I love that because Response just touched on that. You had an interview, and by the time they framed the headline, you were wondering what you know how we say it online, what was ordered versus what you got. This one is what I said versus what was reported. What is the responsibility of the media in managing and shaping reputation for Nigeria? I'm contextualizing that because of your work on Arise TV, and there are certain perceptions about how the program that you are a part of is presented. But again, just looking at what is the responsibility of the media in shaping reputation for the country, and then, of course, your job or your reputation. Second question.
No, I didn't work on Arise TV. Maybe you...
No.
To Oseni, okay. Yes, the role of the media is sacrosanct. It's already established in the ethics of journalism. The same thing as you have in ethical government. You also have the ethics of journalism. The media must stand by the ethics. Once the media goes outside the ethics, then what it's doing is not media work again. So they must stand by the ethics and make sure that truth, fairness, accuracy, and all that are upheld at all times. That is what the media must do. If they go outside it, then what they are doing, it's not media again. For the first time, I saw that Dr. Momoh is called Mr. Reputation. Very good. Very good, because we can vouch for channels over the years. I managed information for a president at a very difficult time, very, very difficult time, but channels will always stand by the truth. Report what I've said accurately. If there is any tweak, once I called the president and said, no, that's not what I said, this is what I said, they correct it. That is what the media should do. And then, for those who speak, for those in government, it's very important that you and your principal must be on the same page. You must be on the same page. It's not that your principal is going in one direction, you are going in another direction. In fact, you'll be fired. You are asking to be sacked. You must be on the same page. Lamai, you talked to President Buhari and he said he will not leave money for anybody. If I tell you what they found in his account, that will be the story tomorrow, so I won't say it. I don't want the media to go away from the purpose of this meeting. It's NECCI Roundtable. They should report what happened here today and not what Buhari left behind. But I tell you, more than 20 years after you spoke to him, that was what happened. That was what happened. The very first day I resumed that work, he was sworn in May 29, May 31, I was announced as his media advisor. June 1, I went to Abuja, I told him, I am managing director of a newspaper, I need to disengage, give me a week. And he said, take it. So I came back to Lagos, disengaged as MD of the Sun newspapers, and the day I resumed, I think it was June 9, you know what he told me? Don't let anybody keep you away from me. Don't let anybody keep you away from me. Wherever I am, office, home, if you want to see me, just come. And that was what happened throughout the 8 years. Nobody. There was one person, key person in government, who was not happy that I didn't come through him. He wanted to put me under his shoulder like this. I resisted it. One day I was even told that when he was backbiting me before the president, somebody who was there told me later that the president said, leave that young man alone. Leave that young man alone. So there must be that relationship between you and your principal. It's not the one that you can't see him, you can't talk to him. No, that's not how to do the job. That's not how to do the job.
Thank you so much. Thank you very much for a very interesting... Oh, okay. All right. Okay. So thank you very much for your time and attention this afternoon. Mr. Lamai has an announcement very quickly.
Yes, I'd like to use the opportunity of this sitting to announce to us that the NIPR, Nigerian Institute of Public Relations, is hosting the World next year, November for the World Public Relations Forum. It was just unveiled 2 days ago in Abuja. We're bringing to this country 126 countries who are under the auspices of the Global Alliance for Public Relations and Management Communication. So we're looking for, the NIPR is looking for volunteers, would like you to be very active in your NIPR chapters, because the final battle was between Nigeria and South Africa, and we told them so many things. And during the unveiling 2 days ago, we said to them that when they come over to Abuja in November, we'd even host the largest candlelit dinner ever held in the world at the Eagle Square, aside from enjoying our food and cuisines and, of course, participating in the training and the workshops. Nigeria has claimed, we have set a standard that we would organize the biggest, the boldest, and the brightest ever World Public Relations that the Global Alliance for Public Relations has seen. So please be active in NIPR and also volunteer to be part of what is happening. You're the ones that are hosting Be Nigerians, Believe Nigeria, and make the world rediscover Nigeria. That's just the announcement I wanted to make.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Please put your hands together for Dr. Alice, Mr. Lamai, Madam Abike Dabiri-Erewa, and of course Femi Adesina. Yes, yes. Well, he will do that. Okay. Thank you so much for your time and attention this afternoon.
Okay, Dr. Nkechi Ali-Balogun, please come up for pictures with the keynote speaker. Dr. Nkechi Ali-Balogun, the keynote speaker, Dr. John Momoh, please join them for the photographs, and the chairman of today's roundtable. He forgot to mention Dr. Lamai is also the co-chair of the planning for the World Public Relations Forum in Nigeria. So if you want any information about that, he will give it to you. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Please do not go anywhere. We have some awards that will be presented today. Real quick, there was an essay competition for this year's roundtable, and that award will be presented today. Let me invite the head of the jury, Emmanuel Ojira, head of jury, to please step forward. He'll tell us how they were able to come to the decision of the winner. And then we'll be inviting Mrs. Helen, let me get that well, Mrs. Helen Onyeri Chukuma to do the presentation of the award. But Mr. Ima Ojila, please. We'll be real quick. We'll need to do this real quick so that Dr. John Momoh will be here to help present the award as well.
Okay. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Emmanuel Eldela Ojila. I was the team leader of the examiners, the assessors of the essay competition. The competition involved 5 universities: University of Lagos, Lagos State University, Pan-African University, Olabisi Onabanjo University, and Convener University. 5 universities. And only 5 students from each university. That makes up 25 students that participated in the essay competition. And as John Momoh said, the topic was like a PhD thesis topic. And we, the team, we use a very stringent marking scheme. And today, I would like to announce to you that 3 students came out outstanding, and those are the students that the awards are going to be presented to them right now. But before the award, the moderator said, briefly, I have to tell the audience the criteria that we used. And I know that so many students are here because subsequent editions, they have to learn the criteria that we use in marking the scripts. You look at it from the perspective, the first panelist, they talked about corporate governance. So when you talk of governance, you have to look at it from the broad perspective. But many of the writers, the authors, they only look at governance from the government perspective. They didn't look at it from the corporate perspective. You have to conceptualize it from the broad perspective. Corporate governance, you look at it from the political governance, but many of the students didn't look at it from that perspective. Yeah. So, the first, we are going to take it from number 3. Okay.
Thank you very much. Please put your hands together for Mr. Jill as he goes back to his seat. All right, on the stage you have Dr. John Momoh, keynote speaker. You also have Dr. Nkechi Ali-Balogun. We'll start from the third prize winner. We have Tomiwa Samson Oyegunle. And he's going away with 100,000 naira. For the second position, we have Babs Enoch Temitokwe, second position. Please keep clapping as she comes up. They are all winners, but as they usually say in entertainment, and the winner is, for the press prize, let's welcome Daniel Namani Chinaza for the first position of the NECCI PR Pulse writing competition. Daniel Namani Chinaza, first prize winner, is not here. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you, Dr. Momoh. Thank you. He's not here. Are you, Daniel, is he here? Let's just give him a few seconds. There he is. Please put your hands together for him as he comes. Daniel Namani Chinaza, first prize winner. They are all from different tertiary institutions. Daniel is from Unilag. A second position, that Babs Enoch, is from Covenant University. And the third position, Tomiwa, is from Olabisi Onabanjo University. Thank you so much. Thank you very much, Dr. Momoh. Thank you, Mrs. Helen Onyeri Chukuma. Thank you. Careful. The three winners. With this, we can be sure that we are assured of the future. Please put your hands together for them one more time. Do we have anybody with questions in the house? Some people wanted to ask questions. Okay, I think time's well. If you have any questions or comment, one question, please come. Okay, 2 questions, no more than that. Come forward. Please direct your questions. Comment 1 minute, questions 30 seconds.
Well, Mr. Chairman, ladies and gentlemen, I just want to point out something that looks like a lacuna. You know, all we have been talking here, you talk about trust. There are variants of trust. Moderating any particular political system is the dynamics and the character of ethics and the moral values that are embedded in the substructure. And this is what we bring about the type of social trust or the degree of social trust in that system. You cannot have a good corporate entity in a bad system. If a system is bankrupt and corrupt, every aspect of that system will go in the same direction. There is a key thing that all philosophers have spoken about. Socrates, Plato, all of them. They talk about social trust, which is the degree of believability in your system. If that one is low, there's nothing you can do. And one of the cornerstones of that is that men are conditioned by their socio-economic circumstances. In a situation where you have mass poverty, nobody can be compassionate. You can just have very few people. Most of the people that are discussing here, they discuss about individuals. But discuss about the system. Individual can be pious and all these things. But when they get to their lasting limit, they will fumble. The problem with our country today is that we do not have a conscious political class that can be, look, every development all over the world. There was a time Great Britain, the Parliament of Great Britain cannot sit past 12 noon because they will have gone, when they go for break, before they come back, they will have been drunk. But some people stood up and engineered development and changes. So we need a group. History, they say history is, we have been told that we're makers of history. But individuals are makers of history. We have to get. I don't have time, I will analyze one. Because lastly, this topic happened to be incidental to my PhD thesis. And I've gone all around. But when the time comes, maybe opportunity will be up. We have opportunity to elaborate on this. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Please put your hands together for him. One question, or let's finish the comments first. Comment, right? Please.
Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I have a message from my chairman, Kaduna State NIPR chapter chairman, Malam Haruna Malami. He sent me to extend, his congratulations to Madam Nkechi Ali-Balogun. She's one of us. We consider her one of us, as a Kaduna State chapter member. And he said that he regrets, his inability to be here. And he congratulates you for this event. And inshallah, next year, a great contingent, will come from Kaduna to come and support you. Thank you very much.
of the person that you're working with.
The day Saraki and Co. took over the Senate against the wishes of the party, after the storm had settled, and I met President Buhari, I said, we need to issue a statement congratulating them, because whether we like it or not, a Senate president has been elected, a House of Reps speaker has been elected. He said, no, he will not do it. I said, no, you must do it. You must do it. He said, why? I said, you are president of the country, not president of APC. You need to congratulate the person that has emerged. He said I should draft a statement. I drafted it. I gave it to him. He read it, where I said, according to the Constitution, from what happened in the floors of the Senate and House of Representatives today, the constitutional process has been fulfilled. You know what he did? He inserted one word. The constitutional process has somewhat been fulfilled. So when he inserted that word, somewhat, he was satisfied. He said, release it. So I released it. But that statement would not have been done if I didn't insist that it should be done. At another time, we were in a foreign country. There was an election in one of the states. I won't mention the states. Won by a party that was not APC. So I went to meet him in his apartment in that hotel. I said, the election in that state has been concluded. This party has won. We need to do a statement. President Buhari said, why should I do a statement when they beat my own party? I said, no, you must do it, sir. He said, okay, let me see the statement. I drafted it, and he approved it, and we released it. So you must learn to disagree with him privately. Privately. If you go and do it publicly, you're asking to be sacked, and it will be your fault. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir. We're almost done here. When Dr. Adesina was talking, he said something earlier about having to see your principal, have your principal's ear and nose and eye. In other words, have private meetings. When I was seconded to an agency of government, the first thing I said to the man was, can I talk to you? He said yes. He saw me on TV and said, I want to work with that man. I said, can I talk to you? He said yes. I said, can I tell you when you're wrong? He said, I hadn't even heard this from you. But this was what I told him, and he said yes. And so in the course of the work, one of those days we had an issue. There was an issue that was going to happen. He had already, on his own, he goes on his social media handle, he's posting. So I waited when he had finished, and there was always a backlash from his post. I met him, I said, sir, you really have to stop this. He said, no, I need to talk to the people. I said, okay. So what we did was we got him another number so that when he does his post with her one, at the point people were now calling him, people he didn't want to talk to. So he decided, he understood and then pulled back. He dropped that number he was using and got the one, started using the one we used. But now he allowed us to manage that bit. We did not disagree with him in public, but we disagreed with him in private. Eventually what happened was, before he talks to the media, and for us it was always about, you need to talk to the media. You need to talk to the people. So before he talks to the people, before he talks to the media, what we do, we brief him. Sir, if you're asked a question in this direction, you can speak to a certain point. If you don't have facts, say, I will get back to you on that. I don't have facts. Because that's what we're meant to do. He is not an expert in communications, and that's why he needed you, or appointed you, as an expert to work with him. So stay objective and manage. You're there to manage him. Leave the publics. Manage him, and he will speak to the public when he should, as he should. Okay, having said that, it's about time to wrap up, so I'll invite to do the wrap-up the CEO of Elegance Inspired Limited. Please help me to welcome Temi Tokpe, Ruth Jacob. And that will be the last thing. After that, we'll do photo sessions, refreshment, and then you can all go home. But I think this... Oh, yes. Just before Temi Tokpe comes up. Just before Temi Tokpe comes up, come. Before you do your official assignment, please come. The dance. Okay. Yes. So, before Temitope does the wrap-up, I'd like to invite up here someone that has an award. She has watched Dr. Nkechi Ali-Balogun do her thing for this 25 years, and she and her group have come together with an award to present to Dr.
Thank you so much, the dance troupe. On behalf of our convener, I want to say thank you for making out time to be a part of this year's NECCI PR Roundtable event. And we want to especially thank everybody that flew in out of Abuja, all the people streaming live. Want to say thank you and see you next year. And I want to especially thank my mother and dear mentor, Dr. Nkechi Ali-Balogun. Since the day I met her, she has been my mother, she has been my mentor, correcting me in love, checking up on me. Thank you so much, ma. Thank you for creating a platform like this. 25 years is a lot of time. And thank you for doing this consistently. Thank you for
shaping how Africa communicates. A round of applause for our convener. It is not easy. Even days where she's sick, she's calling me and saying, Temi Tokpe, we are 7 days to go. We are a few days to go. Thank you so much, Ma, for your love and commitment. We appreciate you. And thank you once again, everyone, for joining us for this year's event, and we hope to see you next year. Thank you, and God bless you, and may you return home safely. Thank you.
Thank you, Temi Tokwe. It looks like we don't want to go. Shall I say thank you for coming? I would like to recognize the presence of the youth coppers in the building. Can we just stand outside? Ahua! I say stand up, you're sitting down. You see your life? All the coppers in the house, let's go. Ahua! That's not strong enough. I'm louder than you, all of you put together. One more time, let's go. Ahua! Thank you very much. I'd like to recognize the presence of the representatives of the Nigeria Customs Service in the building. They are all there. We welcome you, gentlemen of public relations in the Nigerian Customs. We appreciate you. Thank you, everyone. We are done. You can get up and take pictures, meet somebody new, exchange complimentary cards, collect somebody's number, and let's keep communicating all over Nigeria. Thank you, and goodbye from the 25th edition of NECCI PR Roundtable. Okay, so just a quick one. Hajia Lami Tumaka was inducted into the NECCI PR Roundtable Hall of Fame last year, and somebody left with her plaque. This year again, the person has again left with her plaque. So please know that that person, we have to send the DSS or whoever who will get that plaque back. But the NECCI PR Roundtable Hall of Fame is... So actually, she sent someone to represent her last year, and the person left with the plaque. We are thinking that this year she'll bring the plaque so that it will be formally done, but that person will be brought to book. Incidentally, Hajia Lami Tumaka also helped to induct the ones that were inducted into the Hall of Fame this year. So she has to have been a member of the Hall of Fame to induct anybody into the Hall of Fame. So congratulations, ma. Thank you very much, everyone, and have yourself a beautiful rest of the day.
Everything treated me like I was a queen. What spell did it cast on me? Or was it a make-believe? You say, girl, never be afraid of ever loving me. Those words I hung onto. Oh God, I was a fool. You became my bad habit, keeping up appearances so you could notice. Even when you suddenly picked the things and left the keys, that's crazy. ti sara mi folua. Go show, go show. Iwa nika shasha. 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 Oh, Iwa nika shasha. Iwa nika shasha. Iwa nika shasha. When I'm crying, when I'm dying, just leave me alone. I will cry a river on a waterfall. Just leave me alone, leave me I wake up, I see you as you leave. I feel it, I see it as you leave. When we kiss, I went deep, but you're far away. Bibante, Bobby Bancho, Phoebe Sile. Bibante, Bojo Barro, Phoebe Sile. You used to be my everything. Treated me like I was a queen. What spell did it cast on me? Or was it a make-believe? You say, girl, never be afraid of ever loving me. Those words are